Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of Action Toon Bros. I am your host, Ben Sturgeon, and with me is the co-host yet owner of this podcast, Matt Lewis.
Hey, welcome to the new series.
Yep, the brand new series. Well, brand new series, I say, even though it's actually quite old, like 97 old.
Very, very elderly series.
but before we actually get into that, there's this strange man in a house that doesn't belong to me. We a friend of the podcast. You've seen him on our show before. You've seen him on Action Toon Bros. You know, the one that we're not doing because we're doing movie garbage.
Yeah.
Well, and you've also seen him on Movie Garbage. And, you know, I don't know if Matt's going to be doing anything with him on the fly because he's got many other shows lined up for this.
Yep.
Chris Bow, friend of the podcast.
Hi. I just need to work on my own intro.
I mean, pretty much we just introduce you.
Excellent.
You're like Takahata 101. Hi.
I'm like one of those hidden Easter eggs that people just need to watch every single one of your podcasts on the off chance that you're my boy.
That's right. Friend of the podcast on this one, probably.
That's actually good. We never introduce Chris anymore, and we just have him talk like he's normally a part of it. That way, people could be like, "It's friend of the podcast Easter egg time."
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, has Chris been on more than 50% of the episodes by this point?
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah, excluding all the Young Justice episodes, probably
close to it. I mean, kind of, but you also got to realize 50% of your stuff includes movie garbage.
Oh well, yeah, and
he's only been on
way fewer
episodes
of that.
Maybe
because I think I've been on 2 episodes of that.
Even discounting whatever you just said, it's probably I've been on for maybe a third.
Well, yeah, probably because movie garbage. You've been on a couple of them.
Yeah, so getting slightly back on track because we love to get off track a lot.
Cool, we're gonna do a bunch probably.
Especially with this series because as I promised any of you listeners who might have heard our Arcane part 1, season 1.
Yeah, season 1 part.
Yeah, season 1 review. We're doing a very old, and I say very old, but it was like I said 97 and very dated show that I don't care. I'm gonna admit I got the nostalgia goggles on for this one. We're doing Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the animated series.
Oh yeah.
However, before we get into that, hey Matt, you're the expert. You're our resident expert on comics.
Mm-hmm.
What should we know about Spawn as a basis?
As a basis, he pretty much in that weird ass intro. I was gonna do a bit about it too. We talked about it before. When coming in, I was going to do a bit about the whole weird ass fucking intro sequences, but I decided not to last second. He does explain pretty much everything way before Spawn himself even finds out what the fuck's going on.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean, I'm talking about the comic.
Oh, you mean
series,
as a concept? Spawn, the Image Comics by Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, exactly.
He originally left. I think he was working for DC and Marvel back in the past, but he wanted to do his own series. The Image comic universe is different than the big two, Marvel and DC, because the main thing with Image is that the creators own every character that they create, and they can specifically license them out to do crossovers or cameos or anything like that in whatever other universe that they agree to, but they own the characters, as opposed to Marvel and DC where the corporation owns the IP and the characters and everything like that. So the Image comics includes Spawn, obviously, Invincible, Savage Dragon, Sam & Max's spin-off series, and a bunch of tons and tons of other characters, but they are all Angela for a bit, but that's a whole crazy situation we'll get into with Marvel and how that happened. But
trust me, I have a few expressions
but
on that
any
one.
characters that they make, the artists and writers themselves own the characters, as opposed to every other comic series. That's why Image is so unique, and that's why Spawn is able to pop up in a bunch of other shit, like DC stuff, but also Angela's a Marvel character, and how the fuck does that work? And so
we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah. So you mean the Image sounds like it's actually pro writer, pro artist? Then.
Yeah, very much proportionally. Way more is that's why. Yeah, I was gonna say if we ever cover Invincible, Spawn does appear in Invincible, and not in the multiverse where he does Invincible crosses over with Marvel and DC comics canonically. Spawn is in that same universe as Invincible 100% of the time, because Image is weird writers.
Well, yeah, actually, I honestly,
yeah.
I actually didn't know that. Because I asked you before this. I was just like, yeah, because we've seen him in Mortal Kombat 11, who also has DC characters in that, mind you, which apparently that's a canon thing too, according to you. But also I asked you, I'm just like, yeah, because there was like a Spawn and Batman crossover. He's DC, right? And then you're like, no, he's Image. If I had looked up who Image was, I would have known that. But yeah, I didn't know it was the guy. The company who owns Spawn is the same company that owns Invincible.
Yeah, not the company. They just publish. It's
Todd
McFarlane owns
the
Spawn.
character.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know that. I just didn't mean like I just meant like Invincible and Spawn went through Image.
Yeah.
I did not know that. And knowing the fact that, Invincible and Spawn are literally in the same universe, not any multiverse weird-ass stuff. And again, I have a few expressions on when you brought up Angela, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
We were watching these episodes recently.
We were.
How did you describe, as you were watching Spawn, how did you describe it when you were watching season 1?
Okay, so I described it in 2 different ways. So I started by describing it like it's kind of like Batman the animated series if it were like redesigned for an adult target audience. But I thought like, well, maybe not quite that. Maybe it's more like if not Batman, then if it was like Deadpool. But if he was like actually serious, and also it was a show designed for an adult target audience, but that's also not quite accurate. But like honestly, I can't really draw any better analogs. Other than those two, but it's like that's the closest I can get.
Yeah.
But then again, obviously I'm not a comic book nerd.
But, hey, I was gonna say,
no offense to you, Matt, or your audience. Like, more power to you. I just never got into that whole world.
Of course.
Yes.
I imagine I could if I gave it a shot, but I'm much more of a video game nerd myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually kind of funny. We have the comic nerd here. We got the video game nerd as I touch Chris's knee, and we have like the music nerd of all of this because yes, not only did Todd McFarlane in his amazing art style, mind you. Not only do I have to mention the music video for Korn Freak on a Leash, but also he did the cover album for I forget what the album's called. The one with the hopscotching kid jumping off the cliff.
Oh yeah, I don't know the name.
Yeah, I don't know the name of that one, but he did cover art for that. He also, not very many people know this, but in '96 he did an art cover for a band called Iced Earth. Their Dark Saga album, which is literally, if I were to describe it, I know this is not necessarily doing it justice because it's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's pretty much a rock opera of Spawn.
Nice.
Yeah, like Iced Earth, they were like, hey Todd, you own Spawn, can we make an album about this? And you know what Todd said? Go for it, I'll do the cover art.
Oh, yeah.
And so I might make a smattering of little Easter eggs there for any of our Iced Earth fans, which are like probably like 3, including me. But yeah, just it's still. Is it still going right now?
What,
Spawn?
the comic series?
Yeah.
I believe it wrapped up. It wasn't like a one long consistent. Actually,
it was a comic series. It had so many.
He was a dozen spin-off series and stuff now, but it did have like a definitive end like to the universe. I mean, like it's really really bizarre. But I'll get that like when we get to the series finale, but. It's very, very weird. And Spawn is a very crazy-ass storyline.
Because it started off with a comic, and then it, no pun intended, spawned a few other things. Yeah. Like a shitty movie.
But John Leguizamo is amazing in that movie.
Well, first off, yes, he was, because if I remember correctly, that's who they got as the main antagonist in that, which we'll get to when we do. But After we do this for Action Toon Bros, we got to get Ed on that. We got to watch that on Movie Garbage.
Ugh.
Hey.
That's not even worth. Honestly, that movie's not even worth the movie.
Oh, shut up! Oh, shut up! You have Freddy Got Fingered on your show.
Well, that's a great movie. But
no, it's not.
I was going to mention the what was that? The Hug, that 8-minute long Hulu sketch we watched. I'd rather do another episode about that than the Spawn movie.
Well, hey, we gotta do it eventually. It's either that or that shitty Monster Hunter movie.
We'll get around to that one of these days.
Oh my god!
But yeah, Spawn. I think I was first familiar with the series from watching that movie. Michael Jai White, who's an amazing actor and a ton of stuff. He portrayed Spawn and what's his name? The main character. What's his human name? Al Simmons.
Yeah, Al Simmons.
Yeah.
You just said what was Spawn's real name?
I'll exclusively refer to him as Spawn every time.
Well, yeah, I mean, Spawn is Spawn or Al Simmons because this is his story, aka the main story of Spawn, because it's a comic book series, not like Invincible where there's like just one continuity story. It's like it's like any Marvel or DC where there's a whole bunch of different.
I was gonna say no. Things. Spawn is like one linear story for like the hundreds of issues that it has. It is one canonical, never like no. It's a one ongoing series. I'll say that for now.
Yeah, with comics, it's hard to see. With comics, you can't really use the word canonical.
No,
But anyway, and like there's a whole bunch of things. Like I said, there's a movie. There's even actually I've heard many rumors that they're trying to do a Spawn movie.
That's been literally in the works for the past 20 years. I think
years and years. And I'm like,
20 years.
I'm like, look, it's kind of like just they're trying to have a baby. Either have the baby or don't.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, well, maybe one day. If we ever do, I'm sure it'll be bad.
I mean, hey, if the Mario movie did as well as it did, if the Sonic the Hedgehog movies did as well as they did, if Mortal Kombat can make a brand new universe.
Yeah. Oh, so I was gonna say, speaking of live action stuff and like adaptations, the Invincible series, which is fantastic, and I do want to cover one of these days. There's also a rumor of a live action movie, and it's just like, what the hell's the point of that?
Oh yeah, and there's a rumor, and by that I mean they data mined MK1. Omni-Man's supposed to be in that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be fantastic. But we'll see. Well,
anyway,
that's a whole other universe. Spawn.
Yeah, a brand new universe.
Yeah. Chris, were you familiar with it before watching this?
Spawn? No.
Yeah.
Even via cultural osmosis, you've heard the character's name before?
I think I might have heard of the character's name before from Ben at some point, but that's about it.
I mean, quite literally, I could tell when he was watching this show. This was his he was a virgin, and this was his first time.
Yeah.
When it comes to this show, I mean.
I was gonna say, have you ever? Did you remember the Powerpuff Girls episode where they broke up?
They each did their own thing. Like we had Wonder Woman, or what was it, Liberty Bell or something
Liberty
like
Bell.
that.
And then
Buttercup was Spawn.
That was a nod to Spawn.
Yeah, but I remember like the whole like joke of the episode was that she was just like hiding in shadow the whole episode, brooding and exclusively not helping. And I'm just like, huh. And then I watched the Spawn series, and I'm like, oh.
Right. First time I ever watched the Spawn series, well, because, yes, that did cross my mind, because,
Who was Bubbles in that one?
She was like in a bunny suit, like hopping around, being playing Easter eggs. I have no idea.
Manga.
A cute animal character.
Manga.
Yeah.
We had Marvel and DC, we had Spawn, and we had fucking anime manga. But I just loved it because even Buttercup, a lot of parallels, and it's just like, hey, I can't do anything. It's daytime. I only work at night.
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on. Anyway, we have been off topic for quite some time, which is par for the course.
Of course,
but we should probably get into. We built this up so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. And just so you guys know, this is very, very 90s.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you ever plan on watching this, it's a good watch, don't get me wrong, but if you ever watch it, just remember, it's a product of this time. There are some terminologies that you should never use.
Of course.
There are certain aspects of, things that still happen to this day, and it's Chris can attest to some of these aspects. It can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
There were a couple of things where I just said out loud, oh, that did not age well.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but there's some major aspects where even you were getting knots in your stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to those, but it's just so this is. Obviously, as you may have seen on the rating that we're going to show in the corner. No, we're not.
Yeah.
This is a rated MA for mature.
Yeah.
So viewer discretion is advised. So
good thing we don't have any listeners then.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I know.
We had
Legend of Korra, remember? Queer's Gambit and all that stuff.
But what was the other one? Curly's Glove. That was it.
I fucking hate you. Anyway, now that it's been more than 30 seconds, so YouTube can't do shit about us swearing now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I cussed in the beginning, but fuck that.
That was like a minute in.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, let's finally dive into Season 1, Episode 1 of Todd McFarlane Spawn, Burning Visions.
Now turn off your lights.
Okay, so remember viewers how I said that this is very 90s? Well, we learned that Todd McFarlane...
What if I were to tell you that there was a man in a little red suit? He came to you and said, "Do you want to start your own podcast network?" Huh. Well, Matthew made that decision. Hi, I'm Matthew Lewis. And this is
you viewers might be laughing or might be like confused.
Oh, yeah.
But literally, this show is so 90s that the creator himself, Todd McFarlane, great guy from what I've heard personally.
Oh yeah.
But he starts every episode with a little monologue. This monologue is somewhere along the lines of, "Hey, you're on your deathbed. You're about to die. Do you want to take a dark deal to extend your life? Quickly, do it now. Make a decision. You gotta hurry. Time's ticking." And that's the story of Al Simmons right now. I'm just like, yeah, your monologues did not age well, sir. And
he made a deal with Malbolgia. People are like, what the fuck is going on in this series?
The fuck's a Malbolgia? And why do I? And I hope I don't contract it.
Oh yeah, it's a very funny, weird thing, but it's. Chris, what was your reaction to seeing that?
His intros?
Yeah,
the little intros at the
beginning of every. The first time it happened.
I mean, okay, so the first time it happened, it was kind of cool, but like I could definitely tell after the first, sort of after the first, but definitely after the second one, it's like he was not trained as an actor. I mean, even considering like that this was like 90s acting, which was 90s acting,
right.
Or like it was in the 90s, movies happened. Like he did okay. Like it was definitely serviceable, and it was certainly worth having like the that sort of spectacle, quote unquote, of having the original creator as part of the show. Where I don't know if he animated. He probably didn't animate the entire thing by himself. He probably had a team or something helping him.
Yeah.
But I imagine he did at least keyframes or something.
Mm. But yeah, just really cool to have him on in general.
Oh yeah, the creator.
Also, I could tell that even though his intros were all the same, or not all the same, they were like slightly different. He had different openings for each episode. I could absolutely tell that they did all of those shots in one session.
Oh yeah,
he had the same clothes on every single one.
Yeah, absolutely.
One recording session.
Yeah, it was like one recording session. All right, Mr. McFarlane. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna show off your toys. We're gonna show off the violator parts because there's like different boxes with different things on it. So we're gonna come through with the camera. You're gonna turn around. You're gonna monologue. You're gonna turn around again. You're gonna introduce the show. You're gonna turn around, and then after that, we're gonna
shoot the one for episode 2.
Yeah. And after that, we're gonna cut. Then we're gonna do it again, and then you're just gonna turn around and you're gonna do the same thing again, and you're gonna do this 18 times. Because that's how many episodes there are of this entire series. You're gonna do this 18 times.
Oh, we don't know that he did the take for season 2.
Okay, this is fair. This is fair.
Although he probably did it for season 2, just maybe not the same session.
Or maybe
they probably had to greenlight the season 2 first.
Or maybe they already had planned how many seasons they were doing, and they just did a whole chunk of them, and just like if we release season 2, we'll just put these in. I don't fucking know how to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
this.
but yeah, so this one is just like. Oh, yeah, very nice.
About Moment of Death, Al Simmons, Malbolgia, Todd mentions, and then now Spawn, turn off your lights. And then,
and now for Spawn, turn off your lights.
And then a weird pitch black intro with some chains and black and weirdness.
It's like, we're talking like, it's like, words pop up, and it's like, you see like the red flowing cape, you see chains, you see iconic imagery, and it's like, iconic dark 90s brooding imagery, and then it's just like Todd McFarlane Spawn, and then we see the thing that only happens in extremely few Spawn things. We see the timer.
Yeah, 999 counter.
Yep, the 9999 counter.
Oh, yeah.
And pay attention to this because they're never going to explain it.
But say or don't.
Yeah, pay attention to it or don't. We'll get to that sometime during this, but pay attention to that because clock's ticking.
I guess.
We start off by hearing a voice.
Yep,
of
I said
someone.
old man saying 500. It's been 400 years since the last warrior. And then we cut to some unhoused individuals, or as I wrote, hobos around a fire. Get used to that image.
Yeah. Like hobos and by the way, because they never actually explain, except for with like a little bit of context details. But we're in New York. We're in 90s New York City.
Yep. We see a pressman and another guy meeting some source for some kind of information drop.
Yep. And then the moment they're like, "Hey, don't worry, everything's fine." Blam! Shot in the head.
Yeah. I wrote a crazy meth guy as their informant, and then we see Spawn. We do see Spawn on a church before that. And then, the two guys get shot. Spawn just watches and does nothing.
And then, as the third guy's about to get shot, like, actually about to die.
No, he's, like, getting covered in gasoline.
He's getting covered in gasoline and everything. Because, New York gangster mob kind of guys.
And also we do hear another voiceover saying, each Spawn has amnesia, but they have their instincts from their past. As he just, like, sitting there staring at this guy getting covered in gasoline.
Yeah, right. And he's just like, no, don't do it. He's just like, all right, let's wrap this up. And then all of a sudden we actually do see, Spawn finally attacking.
He pops out huge and, like, looms over the guys saying, get out of here.
Hey, get out of here. And whose voice do we hear?
Keith David!
That's right.
Yeah.
Keith David.
Always amazing to hear.
From Gargoyles and The Princess and the Frog as one of the best Disney villains.
Yeah.
And one of the recurring characters in the later seasons of Community.
Oh yeah, he's amazing in that too.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
And They Live, of course, one of his most famous starring roles.
Yeah, right. But he throws a man into a car, killing him. He I forget. He like breaks.
Hangs another guy upside down. Drags another guy into the shadows and then tosses him out dead.
And of course, like every sane individual who got covered in gasoline to die, seeing a hulking, weird red cloaked person in a costume,
giant monster guy,
he points a gun at him.
Yeah, and he's just like, don't.
You don't want to do it, and then fires the gun and sparks hit his body, and he burns to a fucking crisp.
Absolutely insane. So
yeah, and then of course, as the guy's burning, we see a lot of flashes.
Yeah, but they smash cut to a naked lady and some Spawn having memories of.
Him on fire. Oh, naked lady, and a few other things, and it's just like. Get used. This is only gonna happen once, right? ... Right? It's the Anakin meme. We're only doing this once, right? Yep. Anakin just stares at her, right?
But then we immediately get introduced to the best character in the series, the clown. He appears, makes some gross jokes at Al Simmons' expense.
Oh, but yes. Probably one of my favorite antagonists in this, because it's Spawn. There's more than one antagonist.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones, especially in the movie. Who played him?
John Leguizamo, the absolute best.
So just literally, just like fucking yes, I'm doing this in real life.
Yeah, he pulled his shirt up, ladies and gentlemen.
Fucking huge ass belly exposed, shirt not fitting over his belly, pants not even pants unzipped, fly open and everything.
He's not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
No, he does not. He's just like, hello, Spawny boy.
The goofiest voice ever.
But I don't remember who did the voice for.
I didn't look at
for the clown here. I like this one a lot because he's not really like over the top like the other guy from the movie. But
he's super funny though.
But absolutely, and that's what the character's supposed to be. If there's one good thing that came from that movie, it was the clown in the movie.
Yeah.
And here he's the same way. He's just like all red eyes, and he's just like, all right, Spawny boy, let's get this right. And he's like, wait, Spawn. What the heck's a Spawn? You're a hell Spawn. You made a deal.
Yeah, the guy says what, and he sees, he looks in is it a puddle or in a mirror or something, he finally sees his reflection.
Like a puddle of blood, and he takes off his mask, and he's literally charred to a fucking crisp.
He's like, no, and then he faints. And then we cut to some homeless people trying to help him, like, hey man, what's going on?
Two bums Gareb the Bum and Bobby the Bum. And of course, apparently,
I love Gareb. He's just so.
He's
I don't know why,
goofy.
Well,
I just I like this guy. I love how much he's just going out of his way to help this random very broody and scary looking dude.
and Bobby is like. I know how negative this is gonna sound, but Bobby, being the rational one here, being like, dude, this guy looks fucking weird.
Yeah, it was
and
he
killed
PCP or something. He's insane. He killed all those guys.
He killed 3 guys. Let's get the fuck out of here. And Gareb was just like, hey, dude, you've been yelling and screaming for 10 minutes. What the hell gives, dude? You good?
Yeah.
You need a bottle of hooch.
Yeah,
because Gareb is the alcoholic.
Yep.
And
Spawn finally remembers Wanda. I need to find Wanda. I need to get to her.
Yeah, I need to go home.
Yep, and he bumps into an old man who says just no, you'll get used to your powers soon. What? Get out of my way.
He's like Wanda, and not to be confused with Wakanda.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm 100% certain at some point Keith David probably voiced a Black Panther in some animated series.
Oh, probably.
But yeah, the old man gives him some very prescient advice, which he ignores, and then we cut to the cops.
Sam and Max. Chief Bullock and
Bullock and Renee. I wish.
But we get Sam Burke and Twitch Williams, and you know who is who because Sam is just literally sprinkling donut crumbs all over the evidence, smoking, not giving a fuck. I don't know, but when I was watching it, I even pointed out to Chris, Sam Burke, he kind of sounds very similar to the Batman animated series.
It's the same voice actor.
It is.
Bullock,
it is.
It's literally the same actor as
Sam
in Batman.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
And also, Chris, you may recognize him from Get Up on the Hydra's Back.
What?
Get Up on the Hydra's Back.
No.
He voices. He covers for Danny DeVito in the Kingdom Hearts games as Philip
Oh my god, that's actually amazing! I did not know that actually is. I genuinely did not know that.
Neither did I, to be honest. I'm just like, that's good.
But it's so good.
But either way, so he went from what came first? Batman the animated series or this?
They honestly, I'm 100% certain they were airing at the exact same time. I have no doubt in my mind.
I'll just say it this way, and if I'm wrong, whatever. He went from Sam Bullock to Sam Burke, and
it's Harvey Bullock.
Harvey.
Yeah.
Harvey. Whatever. Fucking,
They're the same character, literally, so it's fine.
Either way, he's like, what do we got here? And Twitch, who is a very frail old man with glasses, is like, who sounds like an older Droopy.
He sounds like he's doing a nasally impression of J.K. Simmons, honestly. It's really well. I was like, it's J.K. Simmons.
Well, you see, sir. And he, actually talks about 3 of the guys who are apparently Tony Twist's guys.
Yep, and the other one of the dead guys works for the Washington Post.
Well, no, we don't know that yet.
Oh, he does say dead guy works for the Post, and then the other 2 guys are henchmen of Tony Twist.
Well, yeah, but then because there was what about the homeless guy? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know who that is.
Yeah, because apparently there was a homeless guy. What about this guy? We don't know. We need to get fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah, and he says, we'll investigate. Give me some more. I need more donuts.
2 dozen, sir? No, 1 dozen. I'm on a diet. You know that. Meanwhile,
I love Twitch so much. He just his comments are so subtly backhanded.
Yeah, he's
right.
very good.
Because Sam would be like, this and this and this. Very astute of you, sir. He's like,
as always, sir.
Yeah, right. It's just like he's so backhanded with his comments, but they're so subtle. But then we go.
Yeah, we cut to Spawn in a normal coat and hat, looking very weird.
Looking not conspicuous at all.
Yeah, standing behind a tree,
looking very weird, being all normal and shit.
This is when we see this Wanda, who we see, known in this as Wanda Blake, and she is actually seeing her husband, known as Terry Fitzgerald.
Yep, Terry.
Which, by the way, we'll get to that. Yeah, you had a question about that. But not only do we see Spawn, or I think they've actually said his name was Al Simmons.
Yeah.
We see Al's wife. We see that she is married to someone else who apparently Spawn knows, but they also have a child, Cyan Fitzgerald.
Yep. And he finally does have a breakdown, and it says it's Hell's plan. And then we hear the whistle again. It's Hell's plan to keep the new warriors confused with the amnesia and trying to find their old life. It's the whole point.
Yeah, that way they don't like do their own thing and they just follow Hell's plan. And speaking of Hell's plan, we get the fucking clown. Did you say the cow?
The clown's back. I said.
Yeah. We see the clown eating a delicious snack. A fucking dirt fetid dirt shit ice cream with worms and teeth in it.
Apparently, it's Rocky Road.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
But very gross. Emphasis on the road.
Emphasis on the road, literally. And then of course he's like, "Oh, look at that! It's so sad. By the way, why are you so sad that she got married to someone else and had a kid?"
Yeah, he explains it's been 5 years.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. Sure, that's the love of your life. Sure, she married your best friend, and sure, you were shooting blanks.
Yeah.
And you couldn't provide a kid. Mm-hmm. So what? Now, this is the whole point now. You Spawn now. You made a deal, Spawn. Yeah, you should do your job, Spawn. And Spawn's just like, dude, shut the fuck up, and leaves.
He tells him that Al Simmons was a government assassin, which explains his backstory finally.
Yep.
And then he also alludes that he's been in hell at this point. Saying, like, you've been in hell.
Where do bad guys go, you see? And, of course, Al's like, dude, I'm not dead. I'm standing right here.
Yeah.
In which case, that evening, we see him going to the Simmons grave.
Yep.
And we see him literally open up his own casket
where his own body.
Yeah, where his own body is. Yep. So, I mean, how is he a physical manifestation of himself when himself is in a fucking... Whatever.
Yeah,
anyway.
Very weird. He sees his own body, he flashes back to the wedding, and he freaks out saying, oh my god,
what happened? And then, like, he gets, like, a vision of, like, his own body coming to life. Like,
before he takes the ring off the finger before that. He's trying to take the ring off, and he breaks the finger off, and then the corpse jumps up and grabs him.
He's like,
says,
dude...
You made a deal with Malbolgia. You can't go back to Wanda. She's moved on. It's like, oh.
And he's like, you're a fucking idiot for doing this. What the fuck is wrong with you?
He says he explicitly made the deal with Malbolgia to see Wanda again, and that's fulfilled, so now get to work.
Yeah, pretty much. His own body's telling him that.
Yeah.
But then... We actually,
so he destroys the body, he shakes it and smashes it.
He throws it to the wall because 6 feet under and all that, and
it gets broken up and then he puts it back together, and closes it.
And he, like any sane individual, freaks the fuck out.
Of course.
Then we get this really fat guy with two topless.
No, he sounds like.
With two topless prostitutes.
Yep. He's
just getting each other off
on the phone to Mystery Man. It's like,
I
killed my man.
Who the fuck did, dude? And the guy on the other line. It's just like
an insanely calm voice guy.
Typical Bond villain.
Yeah.
It's just like, now you need to relax. Yeah, you need to relax. This is all just a little mishap. Everything's gonna be fine. Hangs up and he's like, oh hey, those reporters got killed, right? Good.
Yeah. And when you see he says that he's explained. Tony Twist explicitly says that it sounds like or looks like my guys were killed by some kind of government trained guy, and that's what you do. What the hell?
They bring that up. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, that's what you do, right? He's like, oh, that's a lot of accusations going on there, my friend.
Funny thing about Tony Twist, I haven't looked it up, but I'm almost positive that his voice actor was the same voice actor that did Mr. Green from Hey Arnold.
Probably.
I'm almost positive.
You might be right. It really does sound like.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Wynn then calls a senator and says, hey, get me those Department of Defense funds I need. I own you.
Yeah, I took care of your problem. What about mine? And then the senator's just like, hey, don't worry. You're set now. You took care of that for me. You scratched my back. I'm scratching yours.
Yep.
You get you have full access to the Department of Defense and everything.
Yep. He says, hey, covering for a child killer isn't easy. It's like, yeah. Don't
Wait, what?
Yeah. Then we see a random guy getting pulled over. And we find out he is an internal affairs officer. And
yep.
He is getting
Officer Hector.
Yep. He is getting abused by the cops in front of his wife.
And by the way, it is important to point out that the man from Internal Affairs is black, and all the police officers are white.
Yep.
And they're about to literally curb stop this guy.
Yeah, they're about to kill him for no reason, for just being an internal affairs officer, and Spawn appears once again on top of the thing, beats the shit out of them, and tells them not to abuse their power.
Yeah, he's just, beats the shit out of them. One of them still lives, and he's just like, yeah, look at you. Stop being a fucking asshole. And all the while, the clown's just like, it's good.
Yeah, keep doing damage, Spawn. It's exactly what he wants.
Do your fucking job.
Yep.
And then that's where the first episode ends.
Yep, the episode ends there.
A lot of not answering your fucking questions. We'll be honest here, because nobody ever introduces characters except for Al Simmons. He's the only one who actually gets Al Simmons or Spawn.
Yeah.
You can figure out who Wanda Blake is.
Yeah.
Nobody says who Terry Fitzgerald is.
Yeah, they do not say his name in the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think they say Win either in the first one.
I
think maybe Tony
That's the thing about the show. Like, a lot of characters, they don't get... Like, in all of Season 1, the guy who's, like, the Bond villain kind of guy, they only call him by his last name.
Yeah.
So you know what? For the sake of things, we already know Tony Twist. Mm-hmm. Bond villain is actually Jason Wynn.
Yep.
For those of you who know Spawn, we have the clown. We'll get to that in the next episode. We have Wanda Blake. We got Terry Fitzgerald, who is his best friend, because as the clown says. We've got Sam and Max. I mean Sam and Twitch. Not Twitch chat, mind you. But there are... and we got the old man, who literally, it's one of those things I found out because we were watching with the subtitles on. Yeah. The old man's name gets revealed in the subtitles, never says his name, who he is.
Of course, not at any point, I don't think in the series.
But he is a character known as Cagliostro, who, if you remember from that shitty movie, or if you're a fan of Spawn movies...
Spawn movies or Spawn comics, you mean?
Well, comics or the show or anything like that. Yeah, he knows a little bit more than he lets on. Obviously, because he's the ominous old man who talks to himself in the alley, narrating the entire show. Yes, it is actually confirmed when that old man narrates, he's literally sitting in the fucking alley talking out loud.
Yeah, pretty much all the exposition falls on the clown and Cagliostro exclusively. They're only explain everything to Al Simmons' dumbass and to the audience who's also very confused.
And of course, in typical '90s brooding, he's like, "Shut up!"
Yeah, get out of my face, old man. Yeah.
Where are the other drugs going? For our first episode, not bad. Left us with a lot more questions and answers.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, but we did get the important stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got the fact that Al Simmons not only made a deal with something called Malboja, not the devil, just Malboja.
Yeah, something called Malboja. We'll learn more about them later.
And we know that he literally did it out of love for his wife. Yep, he made a deal with the devil. As McFarlane would say, he made a deal with the devil for love.
Yeah.
But he didn't read the fine print.
Yeah, well, yeah, but hopefully they'll go into more in the next episode.
Right. Chris.
Yeah?
Watching the first episode and being new to the whole Spawn thing.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that first episode? And what questions do you have?
What did I have at the time I watched it? Well, it was edgier than I expected.
That's fair. I mean, you're going into Spawn and you're like, oh, it's a cartoon show. Yes, HBO did it, but... Right, and then you find out there was, people getting fucking murdered.
The animation style definitely was reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series, which is why I made that first comparison.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as I was getting more into it, just they're saying fuck. Oh, they said fuck again. And now there's depictions of there's animated titties here. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy tits.
Yeah. Okay, this is definitely intended for adults.
This is not your mama's animated series.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it was very dark. Brightness wise, it was very dark.
Physically dark show.
Physically dark. You could tell that it was intended to be a very highly edgy show, but also possibly reminiscent of just because it also felt to me like it was kind of its own art style was reminiscent of like something straight out of comics. Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Todd McFarlane was the lead animator of this show.
Yeah, and also, like, a little like comic history, Todd McFarlane is pretty much like one of the originators of the concept of an edgelord. And Spawn specifically is. And that's not me just being facetious. I mean, literally.
Yeah,
like,
quite seriously.
he worked on a number of Marvel comics and everything, like I said, but like every character he introduced during those 90s arcs were like the most like tons and tons of guns and tons of pouches and like, you know, like grenades and all kinds of just really weird, crazy proportioned characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just like a notorious artist for edgelording, and he was like the origin of edgelording in the 90s.
Yeah.
One thing, I'll ask this one because you really wanted to know about. Or did you have more thoughts?
Oh, yeah, and then the other like the other question I had was Billy introduced in episode 1?
No. That's his next episode.
Okay. Then at that time I didn't have any questions.
No. You had one question because we talked a little bit about this.
Wait, what's that?
So, Wanda remarried, right? Why is she Wanda Blake when Cyan is Cyan Fitzgerald?
Right,
she wanted to keep her dead husband's name.
Right, like, it didn't.
Oh no, wait, she wanted to keep her own name.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say if she kept her dead husband's name, it would be Simmons.
Yeah.
I guess then, that's fine.
I was gonna say I have my dad's last name, but my mom kept her maiden name, so
yeah,
that makes
fair.
sense.
And like, I guess that's something I didn't quite understand right away. Then later when because I'd only heard the name Cyan, it's like, oh, so Cyan Blake then, then she was name dropped as like Cyan Fitzgerald, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And also I remember like one small detail from the movies. I believe in the movies that Cyan is actually Al Simmons' kid, and not Terry's in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. That was like a weird minor change, but that
Really?
in the movie.
In
but
the
also,
live action movie that you should never watch.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah. That's not a reveal. No, they never, because like in the comics it is explicitly she is Terry's kid because it is important later. Events later on like will influence like Al Simmons having kids or not, but it is important that Cyan is explicitly Terry's kid.
Okay.
Like plot wise, it's important.
Yep.
But yeah.
So you know. Hold on to your butts, listeners, because that was only episode 1.
Yeah, we're already 40 minutes into the recording too.
Side note, I did just now look it up. I was correct. He was Mr. Green Hair.
Hell yeah.
Okay, it was. Good. Excellent.
He has an incredibly distinct voice.
Apparently he was also Sam Burke in this series, though. Like, he was Sam Burke and Tony Twist.
Oh, wow, that guy has a lot of range.
yeah, apparently he does, yeah. But now we get to, episode 2. Evil Intent.
Good Todd. Okay, Todd's beginning thing is about good and evil. Forces of light and forces of darkness.
Do you know the difference?
Yeah, can you tell the difference? Because I can't. Evil.
No. Todd's was, can you tell the difference? Because Al Simmons is going to have to figure that out.
Yep, he says that sometimes there's evil with a touch of good in it, and there's good with a little hint of evil.
Yeah, nothing. The whole viewpoint of
yin and yang symbols.
Yin and yang. Nothing's fully black and white.
Yeah.
Blah,
he also
blah,
says Al loved his family and loved his country, but he did a lot of bad things. So was he evil for what he did? Or?
Yeah. He loved this country. The fucking merc.
Yeah. Cut to intro, and then we
open up. Wait. It's time for Spawn. Now turn off your lights.
Yeah, turn off your lights, people.
Opens
up on some kids playing. You hear Phil and Lil's voice actor.
You hear the old man talking about how evil takes many forms.
Yeah.
And some you wouldn't be able to tell and blah blah blah. Where you hear an ice cream truck and you see his name's gonna get dropped later on, but I'm gonna name drop it now. One of the worst villains, and I say worse as in because with villains you can't say they're the best, they're the worst.
He's a very bad
one of the worst villains ever. Billy Kincaid.
We see him giving ice cream to some of the kids, and we see one girl get inside of his truck.
Yep, because that's not going to be fucking weird at all.
Nope. Smash cut to more naked Wanda dreams from Spawn.
Yep, and of course,
then, apropos of nothing, and then immediately cuts to Wynn just chilling in his office.
Wynn just in his office, just
And then another image you better get used to. Spawn broods in the rain, and they keep fondling the ring on his finger.
And then, at this point, it's Spawn's still getting followed by the drunkard Garib.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before that, we do see a garbage truck swing by and dump
a kid.
Dump a kid. He jumps what we see is
it's a bag.
Tattered up. We see a bag and a tattered up teddy bear in the arena.
But I mean, we find out from Garib, he's like, oh great, another one, and of course Al is just like, wait, another one. What are you talking about? Yeah, kids come here all the time. I mean, they're not alive, but they come here.
Yep, and this is when Spawn thinks about Wanda's kid, Cyan, and he says, she's like, or Wanda herself is the reason that I came back, and this is really dangerous for her to be out like this. And it's
meanwhile at the BANY, the Bum Association of New York, they're over fire, and they're like, dude, we gotta do something about this guy.
The old man did at one point say, yeah, you're right. He said, how long can a Hellspawn hold on to their humanity? And we finally learned that this alley is called Rat City.
Yep, Rat City is this alley. And of course, all the bums are like,
yeah, we gotta get this guy. He's a killer. He's a murderer. Get him out of
he's a murderer. He's fucking weird looking. I mean, the guy looks like a vampire. He looks like he's gonna be morbid any second now.
Yeah, he's gonna start to morb.
He's just we gotta get him out of here. And Garib, the only guy who actually has a fucking conscience. I say that loosely, but he's just like, hey guys, look,
we're all in hard times.
We're being very hypocritical right now because he's just having hard times. We gotta welcome him like everyone else. And Bobby's just like, dude, do you see the man?
Yeah,
do you see how freaky he is? And Garrett's like, yeah. And how are you when you first got here, huh?
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, you want to do this? Fine, fuck you, do it. Yep. And of course, I think even Cagliostro is just like, oh, look at you sounding like the outside world.
Yeah, he's on like the outside world. And then, of course, we see some goons drive up and just immediately start murdering a bunch of the homeless people. They beat them up. They're threatening them.
Give me the answers that I want.
Yeah,
Mr. Game Show guy. And Spawn's just like, hey, I don't like your attitude, and fucking murders them.
Yeah, once again he appears, gives a one-liner, and then kills the guy. He kills two of the guys, and then the other guy says, like, go tell whoever your boss is.
Oh, that's right.
Stay out of Rat
City.
City.
That's right. He, killed the two of the three guys, and then the main guy, he just shot, he took his body with chains so that the other two would shoot him.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, hey, I hope you're still alive because you're going to send a message from me. And you're going to tell your boss to get out of my fucking house.
Yep. And after he saved Bob and Garib again, they introduce him to the rest of the camp.
Yeah, he's just like, even Bob's just like, holy shit, you actually saved us. You know what? Fuck it, get in here.
Yep, the old man says, oh yeah, the Spawns always find their allies, but they don't last for long.
And then, of course, we get Tony getting a call at midnight, because it's always at fucking midnight.
Of course, always the middle of the night.
Sorry, do the voice again?
Hey, it's me, Tony Thrust.
It's like, hey, what's going on? My men died. Get this guy over here. What guy? We're going to explain that later in the episode. By the time I hang up, he better be halfway across the Atlantic. I'm going to pull in my favors and blah, blah, blah. I'm a mobster.
Yep, he hangs up, and then we see Wanda.
I hope you guys realize that every time you talk about this Home Twist character, you are required to do something.
I love it. It's a fun place to do.
Yeah, you're right. We have to. But then...
smash cut to Wanda. We find out she is a lawyer, and she is on a number of pro bono cases right now.
Hey... For those of us who don't know, myself included, pro bono.
It's when you do it's like whenever they say like you have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one will be given to you. It's like whenever all attorneys are required to do work where they're not like working for they're not being paid by the client because the client can't afford it, so they're working with usually more financially concerned people or people who don't have real support, and so they're just like, here's a pro bono, you have to do it, you're not going to get really paid for it.
Generally, pro bono, I think, is another way of saying free, but in this case, it's like it's not that they're not getting paid, they're just getting paid by the state.
Yeah, right. They just have to work for somebody who can't afford a lawyer.
Yeah.
And it's something that all
and of course,
Wanda Watson case.
Yep. Wanda is definitely shooken up about this because Kyle Watson is allegedly a child killer.
And she's thinking about her own kid, Cyan.
Yeah, exactly. She's being a good mom and worried about her own kid.
Yep.
And Terry is being a good husband. Maybe you could take a break from this. I mean, you look like you're a bit frazzled. And she's like, no, I gotta do this kind of thing. And so, kind of building up to what kind of people they are.
Yeah, they're very good people, both of them. We cut to the harbor where we see some southern man is in a bathrobe complaining about being picked up and having to meet.
Hey! You don't get to walk into my hotel room when I am with a woman. You do not get to just throw me onto this helicopter, and you do not get to win. Hi. Yeah, This is technically the first time when we get the last name dropped. Oh, it's Wynn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Jason Wynn, and he's just like, hi, so,
how's that presidential campaign going? He's just like, hey, I don't think that's a good idea. But...
And Wynn's like, oh, but it is a good idea.
Yeah.
And, just remember, and I like it because he's just like, yeah, you're going to run for president. And he's like, if I refuse, there might be some information that needs to be leaked. Mm-hmm. And then the senator's like, okay, but what if I had to tell the president about your little things that you've done? And he's like, fair point, but you know, some of that information that might get leaked, that closet that I have the key to, what if someone found out about your fucking son?
Yep.
And then he's just like, okay, you know what? Fine. I'll run for president. And one of the weirdest ways of saying it that I thought was fucking hilarious, when, you know, gets a cigarette, gets a lighter, and he's like, we're in bed together, Senator.
Yeah.
We've been for a long time. Puts the cigarette in the senator's mouth and lights it for him. He's like, so just sit there, bend over, and enjoy it. I'm like, dude, I mean...
Wynn's great. Wynn's a great
dude, he really is. He really is a Class A villain in this series. And I'm just like, sitting here, I'm like, that's a weird way of saying it, but it gets the point across.
Wynn's a weird dude. We cut to Spawn, once again brooding, as the cops clean up the mess from Tony's dead men.
Yep, and we see good old Birkin Williams.
Hell yeah.
Birkin Williams.
Birkin Williams, huh?
You know what? They need to have their own show. Just Sam Burke and Twitch Williams.
Oh, yeah.
They need to have their own show.
Well, they have a spin-off coming, like I mentioned, that's probably ran as long as Spawn, but just the two of them doing shit. It's really fantastic.
But anyway, we get more of the man, what's going on here?
Yep. We also find out that the dead guy from the last episode, the original informant, was a tech guy who must have heard something while spying on people for the NSA. Or I don't know if they know what the NSA is yet, but it's just some kind of government tech.
Yeah, he heard a conversation he shouldn't have.
Yep.
And then we get to see Twist meeting with this weird big-ass Kano-looking motherfucker.
Kano, he's like a big-ass fucking cyborg guy.
He's like a combination... there you go, see? Contractually obligated. by Chris Bow. We were contractually obligated. Hey, you're the best! Hey, and then the robot guy is just like, Goliath Online.
Yeah.
I mean, Overkill Online. Because, yes, they never say his name until he's dead.
Spoiler, but yeah. They never say his name for this whole episode.
I mean, look, there's going to be a lot...
They say that he was a CIA assassin who was turned into a cyborg.
And of course, this guy, Overkill, is just like, hey, who do you want me to kill? Because apparently... You want something done because I got a lot of money. So... who do I kill? When do you want him killed? I don't know who it is, but...
Yeah, you go investigate. I want him back in pieces. He's like, as long as I get to keep the heart. He's like, what do you want the heart for? I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat the heart. I want his bones in one bag and his organs in the other. I get the heart. Why? Because I'm on a strict diet. What does that have to do with I'm going to eat his heart? But then we get one of my favorite scenes.
Yep, back
in this
to the
episode.
clowns.
The clown is just like,
taunting Spawn once again for making friends with the homeless people.
Hey, yeah, look at you with all the bums, and look at this beautiful, has a picture of Wanda.
Yeah, I just said it's like
head literally just down his hands.
I said the clown wants Spawn to keep killing, and as he honks off to a picture of Wanda.
As he honks off.
No,
I just like it's just like you're about 2 seconds from making your mouth connected to your ass, and then like something different happens with the clown. He actually gets upset.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, yo, you need to back off. You made a deal. You should be on your knees thanking Malboja for giving you a second chance. And Spawn's like, you should be glad that I'm not gonna fucking murder you right now.
Yeah.
And the clown's just like, cracks knuckles. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do this the hard way. And then you see him like getting off to his own transformation.
Yeah.
That's how Daddy likes it. And even Spawn's like, you need to shut the... And he goes silent, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
And thus, we see who the clown really is, because we see his true form, a very spindly, rib exposed, very and, lanky, jagged out,
tiny, really
horns everywhere, giant fucking,
incredibly long jaw.
You played Monster Hunter World, right?
Yeah.
The bottom half of, Valhazak's mouth and everything. And, we are introduced not to the clown now, we are introduced to
The Violator, the youngest of the Fleabake brothers, if you follow the comics.
Exactly. And literally, the first thing he says is, "You're gonna feel a lot of pain."
I love his voice because he's just like, "You're gonna feel."
Yeah, it's literally he's just the way he does that whispering. Yeah. He's just like kind of gets the skin crawling.
It's so awesome compared to the like goofy, gross like crassness of the clown to like the fucking Violator being like the most like upsetting looking thing and like sounding thing ever.
Right, but he's just like, "Hey, I'm a real denizen of hell. This is how we talk. It's called telepathy.
Yeah.
Get used to it. Oh, by the way," beats the shit out of him a little bit. "Get with the fucking program. You're the guy. Like you get the world needs to burn. You've got the match. I make sure you put the match in the right spot."
Yeah, he also tries to shoot up the Violator, but he just like completely. He shoots him in the bush. He just completely appears behind him unhurt and just grabs him.
Yeah, right. It's like he's got the weird kind of phasing where he just loses his skin, but like is still okay.
Fine. Yeah,
and he's just like and then you see him as the Violator. Then it like goes to like Al like in the church like, "Oh, I'm hurt," and then it goes back to him being the clown where he's just like, "Yeah, I'll be back. And by the way, when I get back, you better be ready."
Yep, and this is when we get the most clear definition. Once again, that timer pops up. It's 9992 now.
Yep.
And we finally hear the old man say, "The Spawn's powers are finite, and they should not waste them." That's the best explanation we get for what the fuck the timer is.
We'll get to that at the end of this
and
episode.
then he learns that there is a war in heaven and hell for human souls. Spawn killing people may not be for the greater good.
Right, yeah, because he like walks a thin razor line. One side is heaven, other side is hell, and the prize is human souls.
Yep, and Spawn, like the old man sings to him, he says, "How am I supposed to know the answer?" And he says, "Well, how indeed."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Because he's like so very cryptic. He's an old mentor man. He's supposed to be cryptic in these 90s shows, right? And that's
the end of episode 2.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So finally, the Violator. I had a Violator action figure from McFarlane Toys growing up as a kid.
Really?
Yeah. Having only seen the Violator from the show, that's how much I love John Leguizamo's portrayal of the clown. That I wanted that creepy ass toy, and I had that thing for years. I'm pretty sure it's still in my parents' old house, like old. It was one of those like rubber toys with like the like bendable like limbs. Yeah. It was a really, really, really high quality toy, and I had it for years. It was so fun.
But also like it's just like. It was good. And in the movie, again, if there was one good thing that the movie got right, even the shitty, like, 90s CGI was the clown / Violator.
I went back and looked at it. It's still, like, his transformation and everything, it's really good.
It's very 90s CG, but it is the only good thing about that. Like, literally.
Because spoilers, when Malt Bulger shows up, it looks like shit, but the fucking Violator looks awesome as hell.
But yeah, just you know this guy is crass. You know that you think he's a joke character. He's just a clown. He's just like, what? You gonna fucking
he's a joke character. He's a clown.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say, do you know the whole actual origin for the name the Violator?
I forget it actually because I did look it up one time.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane said it's from like whenever you go to those signs like in the like, real like outskirts, nobody thinks you see those signs that say violators will be shot. Todd McFarlane saw that and said that word is incredibly weird and bizarre, so like, I'm going to use that word for my main crazy villain. And it makes sense because that's how I was like, yeah, violators, and then also you just think about the term and the word. So like, yeah, it's a really creepy word for like a random thing to say. But yeah, he saw one of those signs, said that's a really cool term, and then made the Violator from that side, from like that saying.
What I'd like to know is like if the Violator's true form is just this like the just skinny, the spindly, bare bones dude. Why does his like skin form that he chooses to be like this the absolute antithesis of that? Just like this absolute like fat fuck. Yeah. that like can like barely walk around.
That's an actually good question.
I believe that the reason that he looks like both forms of the Violator and the clown are supposed to look like a creep who would violate somebody. I think it's a point like the Violator looks like some kind of like evil demon that'd be torturing people in grotesque ways in hell, and the clown looks like a fucking weird fucking molester creep and like on Earth. And so it's just like
got that down to a T.
They absolutely nailed that.
They both are very, very upsetting, but in different ways. But the term for the clown and the Violator like makes sense for both forms. It's so good. And like the whole point of the actual like design is like looks like a jester head for like the weird like horns sideways and all that. So it's like
right.
Both forms are supposed to reflect the same concepts of both of them.
But but I just love how they did it in this show.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, you think he's just like, oh, he's just gonna be like the evil like guy. He's gonna be the devil on the shoulder, being like, do it, kill him. But no, he actually is like, okay, you know what? I've taken enough sass from you. Let's get fucking real here. just to see. Because one of my favorite things is early on in a show or something is seeing like a difference of power between your hero and the antagonist at the beginning kind of thing. And so like just seeing like, oh, you're a clown, I'm gonna fucking murder you if you don't stop. And he's just like, I'm sorry, you were saying. And then Overkill.
Overkill is so stupid. We'll get into that next episode.
We will, but just like the introduction of Overkill, I mean,
it's very fun. It's also it's so bizarre tonally from the show. It's like so far the show's been relatively normal. Besides, like you don't know what the clown is, you don't know what Spawn is technically, but then you see this gigantic, ridiculous cyborg sitting in a and just like this is the most contrasting concept ever. He looks so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and even like the clown, he's like, you already know his backstory because he's like, you made a deal with probably a demon from hell. Yeah. Hey, by the way, your soul went to hell. Okay, so he did make a deal with like a demon of hell, and this guy probably is something from hell. Then you see him transform, and you're like, okay, it makes sense. He is a demon of hell, and then you get fucking Overkill. I'm just like, oh my fucking head.
It's so funny.
It really is. So what are your thoughts on episode 2?
Okay, so not really much to add on top of what's already been said.
Of course,
yeah. Right. I mean, and that's fair assessment because it is the show. But yeah, it's just.
I mean, one of my first questions is the moment that I saw that Billy came on screen, and we saw. He was just like, oh, look, he's a creepy ice cream truck dude. It's like, okay, all the kids are leaving except for one. Oh no, I don't like where this is going. And then I look in his eye. I don't like where this is going.
The kid goes into the fucking truck.
Like, okay, then we're going here. Okay, cool. Yep. Cool, so when does Billy die?
No, like, dead ass. 100%. Literally, that is right there. In one fucking fell swoop, not missing a beat. That is precisely how it went with Chris. He's just like, oh, yeah, I don't like this. Oh, okay, we're going there. Cool, great. When's he fucking dying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Billy is one of the... I love they introduced such an immensely hateable, disgusting piece of shit. As opposed to all the other characters that we met so far, including like Wind and Thorny Twist and the Clown and everybody else like that. Just see like, oh, Billy Kincaid is like the real fucking, let's fucking get rid of this monster now, please.
Yeah, right. He is an absolute atrocious monster. So a D&D character you would make.
Oh, he's great. But yeah, it's a fantastic juxtaposition of all the evil characters we meet in that episode, and then Billy being the absolute worst.
And then again, I'm gonna have to throw this in. And then there's Overkill.
Yeah, and then fucking Overkill.
Stupid fucking Overkill.
Will Overkill do something to make him as hateable as Billy Kincaid? We'll find out now.
Yeah, we'll find out right now here in episode 3. No rest, no peace.
Okay.
All right, Todd, what do you have to say to us?
So let's see. Would you take a slow ride on the Satan carousel, he says, or get cucked?
No. Like, that's what he said. Like dead ass. It's like, would you ride the carousel of hell, or would you go back to see your wife boning another man? Like, pretty much. I'm just like. Okay,
Todd, you are a silly
that was a question. I guess you're trying to be edgy,
and the whole part of the series is edge.
Well, I know, but it's just
you were really just you were not trained as an actor. You were trained as an artist.
That right there.
Yep. Spawn is learning, but evil is spreading, and then we see the counter continuing to clock down.
And now it's time for Spawn. Turn off your lights.
Turn off your lights.
Okay.
Blam! The Overkill is here.
Okay. Now I will actually stop doing that joke.
No, don't. Do not.
Come on.
Overkill's here and he's killing more homeless people. Homeless guy says, we finally find out. One of the guys says, he's in Red City. That's what that weird fucking guy is. And then he rips the guy's arm off and uses it to write a message on the wall.
Yeah, and Al sees a bunch of bums standing around the message, and it says, Hero, midnight, I'll be waiting. And it's just like, oh, cool. Cool. Now, so what's gonna happen? You're gonna like fight this guy? It's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to. All of a sudden,
Bobby and Gareb are like, he's some kind of big robot-looking guy. What the fuck was that? I don't know.
He didn't do any. He didn't even try. He just ripped that guy's arm up like it was nothing. All of a sudden, an explosion hits.
Blam.
Overkill comes out, revealing his like half cyborg, half buff man thing, and his exact words.
Yep.
I'm like, this is fucking lame. His exact words were, "It is precisely midnight in Nairobi."
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
He sucks so bad.
Wait, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, right, pretty much. And then he fights.
He uses the F slur for Spawn's outfit, and then
Yes.
shoots a bunch.
Like I said, 90s. There's a lot of things, and yet there's a lot of things that shouldn't be said, like the F slur.
Yeah.
That did not age well.
Of course not, but also it is a bad guy saying it, so it's fine. Also, the guy who
So
says
it's
it to
fine.
beats the
Bad
shit
guys
out
are
of him.
allowed to say
Yeah,
it.
bad guys are allowed to be bad, I guess.
But
he shoots Spawn a bunch, and like his green goo flies everywhere.
okay, dude, don't make this sexual.
No, well, he's
Green
too
goo
late.
everywhere.
Too late. More homeless people are killed in the crossfire between Spawn and Overkill. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
And you know, Spawn does hold his own because he actually takes like like those metal poles that keep us like bricks and stuff together. He takes one of those and he stabs him in the fucking eye. In which case he goes, "Oh no, panic button! Shoot missile barrages in the air so that they can heat seek." And then, he's dead. No, he's not.
Yep, the old man says that the suit protects, but when it runs out of power, it's back to hell.
Yep.
We see Al survive by crawling out of the wreckage.
And we also hear him say, the weird voice saying, when it comes to, a warrior, because he never says the Hellspawn, even though that's what he is.
Yeah.
When the Hellspawn is like, when he comes to life, his natural instincts kick in. Anything that like his instincts would have kicked in life, they kick in now. And which, you see you see, Spawn getting ready to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. So, man, what did you say about when the suit runs out, it goes back to hell?
Yeah.
Yep.
So when the suit, so the suit protects. Once it runs out, it goes back to hell. Okay. So guys, does that mean that what Spawn is wearing is the Vitality Mantle from Monster Hunter World?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
And that's what the damage counter is.
Yeah, exactly. They finally explained, thank you, Chris. We finally know what the hell it is.
Yeah, congratulations. Hey, Chris, congratulations. You hacked the system, you figured it out. 10 out of 10.
Hooray.
But then, with all that ominous stuff,
he's going to sneak into a CIA base to get some weapons.
Yep, and this military is hilarious because he goes in and he steals a bunch of weapons, and literally it's just like, hey, you're in a restricted area. Come out with your hands up so we can apprehend you. Immediately comes out of hiding. Fire.
Yeah, he just started blowing up this way. Finally.
The way the guy fucking said it was just like, hey, come out with your hands up. Fire.
Yeah, and as they're like blowing up and shooting him a whole bunch, he finally learns how to make fire portals. What's this?
Yeah, it was his teleportation, and then we find out from Cagliostro that the first teleportation is never easy.
Yeah, it's always very difficult and takes the most out of them. Then we see some weird little scientist nerd patching up Overkill's dumbass self.
Wait, no, because he goes back and we see Bobby and Gareb like, what the fuck? And of course Bobby's like, I don't trust this fucker anymore, and Gareb's like, hey, come on, buddy, be friends.
Yep, and that's when we finally cut to the scientists patching up Overkill.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. Because it's just like we just see them guys like, oh, just make sure you don't do this. You're not gonna have this and this with your eye. Can I fucking use my eye? Well, yeah, but you're gonna be limited, and all of a sudden,
bam!
You see one of the most edgiest money shots ever. Spawn with 2 fucking heavy assault guns. Just knock.
Yeah, and it just cuts to our good old pal Tony Twist sitting in his car.
And then he opens the door.
Man, when's Overkill gonna be done? I can't wait to get my mission. Now let me just open my car door. Oh my god! And there's a bunch of Overkill parts.
Okay, so this part right here, I fucking love.
This was fun.
I fucking love the delivery from from Spawn.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you knew this actor was meant for the role.
Yeah, he pops out, shoots both of the Tony Twist's men, and then beats the shit out of Tony Twist also.
And then he just was like, he's just like, like, hey, now, listen here, you fat fuck. You work for me now, and you have one job. You're gonna stay out of my alleys. You're gonna make sure that none of your men even spit near them, near those alleys. Because if you do, our meeting ain't gonna be as pleasant as it was with Overkill here.
With your little cyborg friend.
Okay, yeah. Now, what did I just say? I work for you. Stay away from the alleys, or else this is gonna go well. This ain't gonna go well for me. And who am I? I don't know. That's right.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah,
let that one mystery keep you up at night. I'm like, okay, I know this is an edgy as fuck show, but son of a bitch, that was actually good. That was actually
my
good.
favorite line of the whole series, honestly. That was
right. I'm like, goddamn, that's actually a good
one. Spawn says all he wants is peace and quiet.
Yep, all he wants is peace and quiet.
And it's time for a nice morning brood as he sits outside of his wife's office.
Yep, because we hear the voice of the old man being like, hey, sometimes when a Hellspawn is on Earth, they turn to things that help them emotionally. And in this case, it's, Al being like, my wife. God fucking damn. And then we see something that rarely ever happens. We see Wanda Blake, a woman, actually in charge of shit.
Yeah, we actually see her going through her office and finding all of her, obviously her mission, her pro bono job with this Kyle guy who's a child killer. And she says she's mentioned to the people that she fears for her daughter's safety with this weird crew that she has to defend.
Yep, and she's like not happy about it and everything, but she's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to reschedule my 3:30. We're gonna have to take care of this, nip this at the bud."
Yep, she goes to a high security prison.
Rikers actually.
Yep, Rikers explicitly nice.
Yep.
We see the man, and I'm guessing it thinks his mom.
It's his mom. Yeah. It's his mom, and this guy.
He seems very mentally unwell.
Yeah, he's got a very lazy eye. His eyes are sorry to be so crude about this, but we're talking chameleon, where one's definitely looking in a different direction, and the mom's just hey, just hey, he's he's on his meds, everything's fine. He says, and all this guy is saying is I don't hurt nobody no more. I'm a good boy, and the mom's you're gonna have to talk slowly to him. His dad literally beat the fuck out of him as a kid.
And Wanda says that there's a lot of evidence, but there's a couple of discrepancies. And she's just the guy keeps repeating I'm not gonna hurt nobody. And she's like,
right. And then even the mom, Wanda's just with an airtight case like this, best I can do is try to get him off death row. And the mom breaks down, and even Wanda's just thinking what the fuck is going on. Meanwhile, at home, we see Terry watching, the news where it talks about, Wanda, hey,
doing this
maybe,
case.
She's taking the case and stuff, and Wanda's just don't watch it, and she's in that 90s, sexual kind of, I have my button-down shirt, and nothing on underneath but my panty. I was yep, that's a married couple if I've ever seen.
Yep, we see Spawn outside creeping on them like a weirdo.
Okay.
Wanda says that there was some hidden evidence, and Terry mentions that there is some missing weapons from a CIA site. So
because they had numbers aren't matching and stuff like that.
Yep. They're also, but then they start cuddling as Spawn sadly looks on out of the window like a weirdo. Cut to strip club. We see a mystery guy with a full bottle, kind of ignoring the show. I think it's a strip club. I'm not sure.
Well, it's like a sex club because we literally get the insinuation that some fellatio is going on.
There's live sex on top of the actual stripping area.
New York City, everyone.
Hell yeah. We get the guy gets a page, and he goes into the bathroom to take the call. He throws the guy out, and the other guy's like, oh shit. They both leave.
Well, right, and then we find out that it's Jason Wynn.
Yeah, he's talking to Wynn, and he says that he's going to be attacking a shipment that's going to North Korea.
And then of course, he's just okay, I don't like a lot of downtime.
Yeah, so
find a hobby. So what does he do? He takes one of the workers from the fucking club, guy in a weird, thick Australian accent. It's he pulls a knife on him. He's what the fuck's wrong with you? Other guy, which we find out his name's Chapel, by the way.
Yep.
His name's Chapel. Just pulls his knife, cuts off all 4 of his fingers, and in the most bizarre scene ever. This guy is literally fucking this woman doggy style, having fucking flashbacks to something, and Al Simmons apparently.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Al. Oh, I'm coming. Oh, I'm sorry, Al.
yeah. I'm sorry, as he as he's climaxing, and then we
trying to fuck the pain away.
Yeah, like that song.
but as we all know, fucking doesn't make the pain go away. Fucking makes it worse.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Billy cleaning some of his bloody
kill
equipment.
Room as we see a radio playing, talking about Wanda's case.
Yep. Planted to incriminate recent murders and blah blah blah.
And we see the clown is watching Billy.
Yep, and he's just like, ooh, I love where this is going.
Yep, and that is where the episode ends.
Just.
Oof.
Yeah. No. What did you just say?
What? Oof.
A goof.
Yeah. I am incredibly glad that they dealt with Overkill's stupid ass off camera and in one episode. That's all he deserves, is to be embarrassed.
That's how important he was, right?
It's so stupid and so funny. He sucks so bad.
But yeah, it's just, oof. That's all this episode was oof. We got to see, Billy Kincaid working a little bit. Not into too much graphic details. We see, Al Simmons getting cucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, actually,
here's
the question. Is it cucking if it's been 5 years?
Yeah, and you're dead and you're just watching like a weirdo through a window? I guess not.
There's...
It's very funny.
This is again very very 90s, and that fucking sex scene, man.
The multiple sex scenes in this episode.
Oh no, I'm talking about the big one with the
Chapel.
I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah.
Chapel's a very weird character.
You know what I imagine? You know what I fucking imagined? He did like yell, "I'm sorry," and she's like, "Dude, you okay? I told you to come inside."
So he's just like, "Who's Al?" She might be like, "Who's Al?"
Yeah, Al, my name is Stacy.
He's
bitch.
like, "Shut up, it's Al." I'm sorry. But yeah, very funny episode with the Overkill being a piece of shit and then getting killed.
Yeah, and he died as he lived.
Pathetically.
In the blink of an eye.
Pathetically and embarrassingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very, very stupid.
Just, oh my god. None of these episodes are filler because there's only like 6 episodes, but god damn did this feel like a filler episode. I mean, yeah, I guess it's like, oh yeah, more powers of Spawn, and that was it.
Yeah, it's very, very funny.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
What are your thoughts?
I'm also here. Yeah. Not a whole lot other than just like, can we just agree that Overkill is just like highly edgy and emo cyborg from Teen Titans?
Yeah.
And also Kano, because he's a trained killer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, barely. He guys asked, all he did was kill someone.
No. He's a trained killer.
Oh, yeah.
It's just Al's a better trained killer.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's what it was. That's what this entire episode was. Overkill versus Spawn. Who's the edgiest? Obviously, edgy main character wins.
Yeah, the guy with the 2 giant machine guns and devil powers.
Yeah, and devil powers, yeah. So, honestly, yeah, like Chris said, there's really not much left to say about this. There's really no, in between. Okay, actually, Matt, there is a good question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're the comic book guy. How much more important was Overkill in the comics?
About this unimportant. This series pretty much follows the first part of the comics pretty faithfully, on spot.
Okay, that's actually good to hear.
Overkill sucks and killed off screen practically.
As a side note, you know how to those of you listening, because I mentioned earlier a specific album that's my favorite. So we get the basic we get a track that's about the basic premise. We get a track about Al Simmons. We get a track about the Violator. And you want to know, out of the 10 tracks, you know who we don't get a track about? Overkill. Overkill is so fucking
I know, yeah.
Ugh. He doesn't even get his own song.
I'm pretty sure Overkill's not even featured in any of the shitty, the shitty video game fighting games that have spots.
No, there might be some video games where he's in it.
The main one I know, the fighting game one, he's not in. There's a different. What
about Armageddon?
Spawn Armageddon?
Yeah.
That's a fighting game one?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay, I can't remember.
There's a fighting game one, which I think, but then there's the actual good one, Spawn Armageddon.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Yeah, okay, but I know. I think he makes an appearance in the Spawn, the Super Nintendo game that was supposed to be based off of this TV show. I think he made an appearance as, like, I think he might have been, like, the first boss.
Probably, yeah, because he is the first boss in the series. He's a first boss, come on. Yeah, which, by the way, not necessarily the worst game, but not necessarily the worst game either. Yeah. But yeah, it's just overkill. Got overkilled. He truly sucked.
He really did. So now we're on episode, 4?
4.
Yeah, episode 4. Domino's Pizza coming to you live with the Noid.
Yeah. What if I told you about cause and effect and karma in the afterlife? That's pretty much it. He talks about that stuff.
And now for Spawn.
Turn off your lights. Time for a nice morning brood. I'm just out here ominously looking over the thing as the old man says, heaven and hell are constantly going at it.
And then we see Tony Twist.
Yeah.
He goes into an abandoned junkyard. He's like, hey you. You're gonna go to Rome soon.
Yeah. You're gonna apologize about getting overkill killed.
You're gonna die about overkill being overkill. You're gonna suck his balls. You're gonna eat his asshole. You're gonna do anything you can. We're really, really sorry. I want you to know that you will do anything to make this man happy, okay?
And the guy's just like, yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I'm on
yes,
it.
sir. I got it, sir. Let me go, sir. Please, sir. Why am I saluting like this, sir?
And then we cut to a red-headed woman coming off of a train. She kind of just walks down.
Hey. She's getting off of a train. She's not coming anywhere.
Really? She's coming off of the train.
But anyway, so we are introduced to this.
She's getting a train off. I mean, getting off a train.
Nice.
She's training.
Hey, that's Thor's sister you're talking about. How dare you?
Wait, what'd you say?
That's Thor's sister.
Yeah.
How dare you say that?
Anyway, but we get introduced to a very underplayed character who deserved a lot more than what she got, but she's just a random, like, Amazonian kind of looking,
very
red
tall,
hair,
supermodel looking redhead lady.
Yep, and like so great that the newspaper guy drops his cigarette in his booth, not burning anything, mind
Luckily.
you. She sees the paper, and
That's
has.
Right. I remember watching them just like, dude, you have a newspaper stand. Put that shit out.
But she reads, and on the front cover of the paper, it talks about how Wanda Blake won the case.
Yeah.
For Kyle Watson, and as she's doing that, she passes by one of New York's many strip joints with these two creeps like, hey, you want to get busy?
Yeah,
and she's like, you know what? Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
back
follow
here,
me
this alley. They're just like, yeah, this is going to be good. Get the knives out because they're thugs. They're like, yeah, we're going to have fun doing things for you. And she's like, literally starts lifting up her skirt. She's like, sorry about this. Yeah, it's entirely all art. Yeah, it is. Then she fucking, like, single-handedly, without even changing her face, beats the fucking shit out of these guys.
Just completely destroys these two freaking weirdos. And then she kind of just goes on her way, and she pushes a huge, gigantic glass building.
Yep, a huge building, which will never be said. But when we finally reveal who this character is, because everyone is looking at this woman coming through, and they're like, dude, what the fuck? Why is she here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the building is exclusively staffed by women for some reason.
Yes.
But she rides the elevator.
A lot of blondes too, mind you.
Yeah. She rides the elevator up, and she walks into her boss's office past the reception, and they're like,
yeah, you can't go. She's in here, and she's going to talk to me. And then we are introduced to Gabriella. Gabriella.
Yeah, Gabriella. Gabriella.
Gabriella. I thought it was Gabriella, but either way, it's Gabrielle. Yep. Yes, and she's like, hey, Angela.
Yeah.
You can't. You gotta go through channels if you want to do this. And Angela's like, save it. All the channels go through you. Why have you not told me about this hellspawn?
Yeah.
Why have you been like literally not keeping me in the loop? You know I'm a very damn good hunter.
Yeah. She says she's killed the previous 2 spawns. Yep. But her boss is somehow not keeping her involved, and she says, well, yeah, exactly. Because of your attitude like this is why we are trying to keep you out of this.
Oh yeah, and she to kind of paraphrase her, she's just like, you know what, Angela, this is why no one likes you.
Quite. And she's like, look, you're not keeping me off of this case. it's typical police work, You're not taking me off this case, Chief. Yeah, I am. What about my hunting permit? Denied. Go through the proper channels. I am going through the channels. They all lead to you.
Yes,
go through the channels. I want to point out after she, as Angela throws her paper down and leaves, I want to point out something, a little detail, that if you look at Angela's earrings, they have spawns on them.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so I'm like, what? Do you just get off to wearing paraphernalia of the guys you're going to kill?
I mean, obviously, the super cool badass character. We're going to find out more about her soon, right?
Right?
Right? Yeah.
Sorry, the pause had to be there.
Of course,
because and just so you
spoilers
guys know,
for the rest of the series.
well, spoilers for the rest of this season at least.
Yeah.
That's all we get of her.
Yep.
And I'm pissed off about that, but we're gonna get to that at the end of this recording. But anyway,
we got to Wanda at a pond feeding some ducks.
Yeah.
As a weird creep kind of takes photos of her from the grass.
Yep, and she's with her PI.
Yep, she meets a PI named Max with evidence proving someone else was the actual killer of those.
Yeah, this is a lot deeper than we think.
Yeah. We see the size of the cover-up is really, really intense because this goes all the way to the top and they're going to be in big trouble. So he's kind of just like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this.
And she's like, hey, I pay you, you give me shit.
Yep. As they begin to walk off, we see the weird, creepy photographer continue to try to follow her as Spawn, a bunch of chains fall around him, picks him up, spawns in a tree.
Spawn's doing something in the daylight?
What?
Oh, wait.
He's doing something?
Yeah,
Wow.
No. He's doing something in the daytime because he always does that at night. But no. You're right. He's in trees. He's in the shadows, so it's still counts.
So hang on. We're in. Damn it. Well, we're in New York City, therefore it is perpetually nighttime.
Yeah, it's always night.
Hey,
just like how it's in the suburbs, it's always daytime.
Hold on. What the fuck do you think this is, Gotham City?
Lol.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, hang in there. Hang on, Chris says, as that's exactly literally how this guy's doing.
That was not even my intention.
You and your puns, Chris.
But we get Spawn
planned.
We get Spawn pretty much pulling a Batman like, give me the information that I want. And this guy, unlike every Spider-Man villain, unlike every Batman villain who's like, okay, I talk. He literally not only gets his arm broken because he tried to shoot, Spawn, but then as he's on the ground, he takes his good arm, takes his gun, and then shoots his fucking brains out.
Yep, he kills himself as opposed to giving Spawn any information.
Yep.
We cut to Terry meeting with Wynn about the missing weapons and who the fuck took them.
And Jason's just like, yo, I don't need to know any of this information. We need to know who stole my weapons from last night in this military establishment that Spawn totally was not at.
They actually have footage and they show that it was
from
what the hell is that?
from Onslaught's onslaught from Overkill's eye, and it's just like, and even Wynn is just like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, they're saying like this, and of course Terry's just like, man, this carnage reminds me of Al Simmons.
And he's just like, look, you need to get with it and know what's going on here.
Oh, he also said before this actual incident, there's been weapons missing from this facility for a while, some kind of scam going on, and Wynn is like, oh wow, really? Huh?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Wait. Really? Give me the information. Oh yeah, blah blah blah, information, blah blah blah, and then Wynn's just like, who else have you told about this? Just you. I wanted to come straight to you. Very good. Now you're gonna keep doing this investigation. And you're only going to talk to me about this, okay? And he's just like, yes, sir. Leaves. And then he's like, what a fucking idiot this kid is.
Chapel's just like, hey, is that the guy who's sleeping with Wanda? And just like, yeah, man, he's sleeping with Simmons' girlfriend.
That is Al's best friend and fucker of Al's wife.
Yep, and we also finally get the full Chapel in his full skull paint face makeup, which looks a very fun design.
Yeah, which looks about as edgy as you'd think.
Of course. They watch Overkill's footage and they say, man, what the hell is this thing?
Right. And then, of course, we get
more of the clown.
The clown just just watching him from a distance, just like, nah, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, exactly. Sam and Twitch investigate the dead photographer at the park, and they're saying, what the hell is going on? Like, I think either is Sam saying like it doesn't look like a homicide or it is a homicide.
Yeah, he's like, guy gets his arm broken in 3 places and shoots his fucking brains out.
Yeah.
He's not, this isn't a homicide. Like, look, he may be like the fat idiot, quote unquote, cop, but he's not that fucking stupid. He's like, this ain't a fucking homicide. What the hell?
Yeah.
And then when they turn on the TV, they find out that the senator, Scott McMillan, which is the same senator who's been talking the win, is running for president? What?
Yeah. They have Twitch specifically is going through the reporters' records from the sees a lot of government people. And this they cut to the news thing with the senator talking about running for president. Twitch notices the dead photographer is also from Washington, which is the dead photographer and the dead guy from the park are both from the same place.
And of course, Sam's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep. And this is when we cut through Tony Twist once again. He's in his bed. Oh, Chapel's here. Oh my God, he killed the girl I'm with.
He killed my prostitutes. What did that?
Wynn questions him. Chapel and Wynn are both in there after they randomly kill the two women he's with.
You just get in here and kill my...
I do whatever the fuck I want. Look, we may have a clown, and we may have you, and we may have had that overkill, but I'm the main villain here.
Yeah, Twist refuses to say anything about who attacked him.
Yep, because he said, like,
look, all I know about the guy is he looks like a freak, and he wants his quiet. I'm not doing anything.
and Jason's like, need I remind you that I'm in charge? And you want to know how I know I'm in charge? Here's a present for you from Rome. I intercepted it from your men. Now, get with the program, starts leaving, and you see... inside the package is the head of the fucking negotiator, and he says, we are not pleased with what happened with Overkill.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. That's not my man.
Yep, and we cut back to Wanda is on another case. She's on a call about a fire that 2 children died in. And the PI is, like, for some reason, weirdly judgmental about her trying to get more money from the case because his family lost 2 children. He's just like, you shouldn't be trying to get more money. That's not going to bring those kids back. And just like, well, that family's very poor and that company's at fault, so they should be giving as much as they can.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, you need to stop this investigation. Here's some more information. You need to stop this investigation. I have to do it. Why? Because money doesn't bring dead kids back.
Yeah, he says she's going to need to hack the government to find out more records on what the fuck is going on with this cover-up.
Now, pay attention to that. That's important for later.
Yeah, smash cut, Spawn sex dream again, this time about Chapel and the Clown and Wanda just having a whole big flashy montage of stuff happening.
And the Clown being like, I'm in your dreams, bitch.
Yep, he wakes up and almost attacks Garib, but he's like, what do you want?
But you know what I like about it? Yeah. He almost chokes Garib to death. Garib is like, it's just me. Spawn, let's go. And Garib's first response is, another nightmare, huh? It's like this is like a typical Tuesday for him. And he's just like, hey, you want some of this, only slightly moldy bread?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Garib tries to say, hey, you're worried about your health. You should probably get some help, man.
Yeah. Well, he's like, because Spawn's like, I need to figure shit out. And Garib's just like, why don't you just stop and actually stop thinking and actually do something about this?
Yeah.
And he's just like, you don't know anything. Get the fuck out. And Cagliostro's like, dude. This guy's literally the only friend you have. At least he treats you like a friend. You should actually probably listen to him.
Yeah, pay attention to what he says.
He's like, you get the fuck out of my way, old man.
He fixes up.
I cut myself on this edge.
Yep, he starts cocking his weapons and filling up ammo, and as the episode ends.
Yep. And I mean,
I like this one a lot because it is just exclusively like more investigating with Sam, Twitch, and Wanda.
It really is, yeah.
The main thing I know you want to talk about is Angela's portrayal.
No.
Not yet?
That is a post-episode conversation.
This is post-episode.
No. Post-recording episode.
I'm about to say now is probably the best time to keep it in your mind because this is the...
dude, this has been seething since we started this. This has been seething because ever since I said I want to do this. This show. I have been. You know what? I'm gonna pull a lingo from the kids these days. I've been fucking maulding about this shit because
I've not heard that one.
Apparently, it just means like you've been stewing angrily about something. Apparently, that's what the kids say. Look, I only know this because some of the people that I watch on YouTube, they're like older people like you and me, but they like use the new term lingos.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's the only reason why I did it. Anyway, I did it for the younger audience.
Oh, sure. Okay, so what do you want to know this episode?
Anyway.
I think we should now, but...
I was going to say, are you sure?
Yeah.
I may go on for a while about this.
It might as well. This is a little over halfway. We only have 2 episodes left, so yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, Angela started off as a Spawn anti-hero,
Antagonist.
villain, antagonist, something. Started off strictly at Spawn. The creation of two people who you know very well. One of them we've talked about extensively in this show, Todd McFarlane. The other one is definitely one you all know, especially if you are familiar with, the Sandman, or, Coraline, or, the show that's on Amazon that was this guy and Terry Pratchett, Good Omens. Neil Gaiman.
I would say not his work on the Eternals, which he created, or Doomsday and the Outer Gods. All the stuff from Young Justice, the third season with all the Outer Gods, all Neil Gaiman.
I only listed a few things.
Oh, yeah. Neil Gaiman's absolutely massive.
He is. Yeah, just a small name like that. Mm-hmm. And they both created this character, Angela. So, in the words of Deadpool from his own video game, some shit got fucked. They both had disagreements. Mm-hmm. They went to fucking court to see who could have ownership of Angela. Gaiman won. Yeah. And then proceeded to sell Angela to fucking Marvel.
Yep.
She went from a fucking hunter from the forces of heaven who kills Hellspawn, eats them for fucking breakfast. A very interesting character, and comic lore, for those of you, actually, not only gets saved a few times by Al Simmons, but becomes a lover of Al Simmons. Because he actually finally gets over Wanda in the comics. And then, after this whole, thing happened with Gaiman and Todd McFarlane, they killed her off in the Spawn series because, can't do it now. Can't do it now. And then, all just so that she can become an Asgardian in the Marvel universe.
Yep.
Really? Wait, when did she get sold off?
Oh, I forget the fucking year. It's just
it was fairly recently.
Blonde to Todd, right? No.
No, like I said,
she was originally
as I said before,
character.
Image Comics, the writers and stuff own the characters' rights.
Yeah.
Like you said, Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane both own the character. They went to court. Todd won, Todd lost.
Yeah.
And Neil Gaiman won, and then gave the character to Marvel as a studio to own, as opposed to just him.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil Gaiman was another person at Image Studios, or?
Oh,
They both worked on Spawn for a while together, and when they wanted to sell the character Angela, Gaiman specifically won the rights because, like I said, Image owns it as opposed to Image Comics owning it. It's the writers own it.
Right,
two people own the character. They went to court about it. Now one person owns the character,
and then he hands it to big giant corporation Marvel to be like, "Okay, you're another character for us. Thank you."
But like these two people went to court to see who officially owns it, so they would say who gets the money, or.
No, they were. I think maybe because
I think Todd wanted to keep the character in, but Gaiman's like, we need to make other plans for it, or something like that. I don't know the nitty gritties.
Yeah,
it's just that pretty much it's like, hey, we both own this character. We both created this character. This wonderful character, mind you, one of the more badass ones in the Spawn series. And then it's like they both had disagreements on what to do with said character. So they're like, you know what? We can't agree with this. We both own this character, and we are not seeing eye to eye with this. So let's go to court. We'll fight it out in court legally to see who gets to do whatever they want with it. And Gaiman won.
Legal battles once again ruining comic book lore.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And what really fucking pisses me off, I like Gaiman's work.
Yeah.
He's fantastic at what he does.
I was gonna say, I am a massive fan of specific stories of his. Others I absolutely cannot stand.
The DC animated universe.
Yeah.
The John Constantine City of Evil.
Yeah.
There's a short that I did not know was connected to Sandman, where it was all about an artist who dies and death is there. Death, being this pale woman and stuff. And I didn't realize until watching, the Sandman, the Netflix Sandman, and actually digging in that was actually death from the Morpheus is
the
sister.
Endless.
The Endless. I didn't realize that. Fantastically done.
And like we said, there's tons of DC characters in the Young Justice series we wrote that literally Neil Gaiman created.
Right, yeah.
From the beginning. He's a huge
and Lord knows if you're into very witty kind of like humor and stories. Lord knows that he did a fantastic job with Good Omens.
Good Omens is a fantastic series.
It is.
American Gods is another one, the HBO series, and the
yes,
book
that's right.
are
He
fucking
was
great. Yeah.
And Lord knows that, if you've read Coraline, like the book, the movie was great, but the book was even better.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But the fucking thing I hate the most about this, such a wonderful, well thought out character, one of the few thought out characters of Spawn, and Gaiman was like, I'm taking this wonderful character and selling her to fucking Marvel.
She had some good runs, I'm sure. I never read any of her stuff, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I've never known her in Marvel. I've only known her specifically to this, and honestly, because I have to drop this every now and then, track 4 of the Dark Saga, literally titled "The Hunter." It's about her. One of my favorite songs ever, because it literally describes, lyrically, it's kind of, it's 90s. They were kind of new. It's kind of mediocre to okay, but even they were like, dude, we like this character a lot. So much that she got her own song, and this is like a really good song too. It's just this whole fucking thing with her pisses me off because she had so much potential in the comics. She had so much she could have done, and they set her up so nicely just to fucking kill her off in a fucking war between good and evil, just because of this whole legal battle.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh my fucking god, man!
Yeah, I'm curious if the actual thing, because Angela didn't pop up in Marvel for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it was also a big, news story thing when it was happening, House of M and all. It was, a huge, giant, important thing that people were talking about when it happened.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe it was around, 2014 or 15, maybe, that she popped up again. But,
something like that.
I don't know when the trial took place, but, it was very upsetting that happened. Because, this character is set up in, spoiler, she has put up for the rest of the fucking season, at least. It's very, very unfortunate. Also, I'm very curious because, like we said, Neil Gaiman owns the rights to a lot of his own shit, and he has a shit ton of leeway with Marvel and DC because of his quality of his writing and his hierarchy in those studios and his propensity to they let him do whatever he wants. So I'm sure if he did actually write any of the Angela comics for Marvel, I would have no doubt that they are probably very, very, very good though. But I'm very curious what the actual plot is about of them. But it's a fortunate thing, because I know Angela is a very cool design character. She's very,
Do we know if the rights were transferred after Season 2 of Spawn aired?
I have no clue, because like I said, I don't want to spoil for if she puts up the rest of the series or not. But, it's very weird that she was written out like that.
And by the way, Marvel,
yeah.
Angela, first appearance was in Age of Ultron number 10, June 2013.
13? Okay.
Sorry. Historically. Chronologically, apparently, was Original Sin issue 5.1 on July 2014.
Okay. What was the last appearance in Spawn? Does that say her last appearance in Spawn?
In Spawn?
Yeah.
Sorry, I looked at specifically Marvel version.
Okay.
Now I am going to actually look up the Spawn one. Phil.
Really? While you Google stuff, you're gonna really
hey, look, we gotta do this. I gotta do this.
You gotta have accurate information.
Of course. Oh yeah. We're anything if not always accurate.
So anyway, first issue she appeared in was 1993.
I know she was really, probably the third or fourth issue, really early.
Yeah. 1993 was her first appearance, but her final appearance. There's the legal battle.
What year was the legal battle? That's probably all we need to know.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, anyway. Yeah,
nice.
Welcome to the show, guys that are new to this.
I hope you are you at home Googling it? Can you get it faster than Ben can?
leave your answer in the comments.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you want the actual answers to this.
Otherwise, you're not getting them, especially not if you're listening. Nope.
And we're also holding the next 2 episodes hostage until Ben finds out the answer.
It looks like It's actually, like, I would have to dig a little deeper because none of these are... Every single one of these results are giving me her first appearance. I'm like, I care about that. I care about that immensely. But I want to know her final issue.
And we can find out later. We're ready to start episode 5.
Yeah, sorry. No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not sorry. Because I told you we should have waited until the very end of this
then you would have been
recording.
Googling at the end of the episode. That would have been much more weird.
No, I'm not sorry because this really irks me.
Hey man, why don't you just
this.
read Marvel Comics' Angela run and see if it's good?
No, fuck that.
I'm gonna read it, and okay, listeners, I'm gonna read what Angela does in Marvel, and I'm gonna pontificate on how great it is next episode, just to piss Ben off.
Yeah, because that's the only reason why you do these things.
That's the only reason I would read that comic anyway.
Anyway, speaking of you doing something just to be a fucking imp, and me doing something because it actually irks me. Episode 5 of season 1, Souls in the Balance.
Hey, it's topical. Angela's soul is in the balance.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, old Todd, he has a little thing for us about the devil you know. Would you know the devil if you saw him? Would he be a little pitchfork man, or would he be a creep on the street? Who knows?
Okay, look. Visually speaking, you guys can't see, but I'm doing like the fucking Will Smith like point at Chris because when we were watching this episode recently, Chris was focused on listening to what Todd was saying. Every time he was just like, "Would you know the devil if you saw him?" And I was literally right beside Chris going all the time, and he never fucking noticed. And literally after Todd was done talking, I was just like, "Thank you for not paying attention." Chris's response, Still watching the episode. I'm just like... Anyway, but yeah, so, do you know the devil?
I still have no idea what you were trying to reference.
He was like...
You're saying you're the devil, Chris.
Yeah, he was like, do you know the devil if you see him? Do you know... Is he some creep in a tight red suit? Or maybe he's like...
Oh, you're implying that, like, Todd was the devil?
No, I'm implying
No, he's
that
talking about
you
the red suit you're wearing and the little devil horns.
Yeah.
Listeners, in case you don't know, every episode we record, Chris is wearing a little devil suit.
Yeah.
That is... What?
No, except for Legend of Korra. Except for Legend of Korra, because he was dressed up as Pabu.
Yeah, of course.
I guess there's no way I can prove or deny this.
Hey, on the positive side, neither can we. But anyway, so, yeah, that's pretty much Todd McFarlane. He's just do you know the devil?
Though?
I don't get it.
I was just being fucking silly because it was like 5 or 6 in the morning when we were watching this.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, so we actually cut to after... sorry. And now for Spawn, turn off your lights.
Turn off your lights.
Because Matt will not let me not say that.
Spawn is sitting around once again, not doing anything and brooding.
As a deranged reverend with grenades...
Oh, wait, old man talking about how shitty Spawn feels about everything that's happened and how he's just kind of like sitting there.
Oh, right, yeah. Cagliostro has that.
And then we see the cops on a call talking about a crazy priest that kidnapped some kid.
Oh no! And then all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, we're gonna kill this son of a bitch. Immediately cuts to the fucking
two other cops and the priest with a grenade, just like sitting on the cop's car, just like taunting them, saying, "Hey, what are you guys gonna do?
Hey,
I'm a crazy
grenades.
person. I'm rambling.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
I
got grenades, and I have this kid.
Yeah, he's a child. He's talking about innocence and how important innocence is, and the cops are like, "Okay, man, sure, just calm down and put the grenade away, okay?"
No, calm down and put the grenade down. Very poor choice of words. Puts down the grenade under their car as he runs away, and it explodes.
Blows up the cops inside of the car.
And then, of course, Spawn is...
no, they run around the corner, and the kid starts signing and kind of mumbling. We learn that the kid is actually hard of hearing.
He's deaf and mute, we find out.
Yeah. The priest is like, "Quit doing that shit! Quit leaving your hands in my face! I'm a crazy person." He eventually does escape the priest for a couple of seconds. He runs around a corner and he meets Spawn,
who stands there,
does not
menacingly.
He's just standing there menacingly,
and the kid's just like signing like, "Hey, I need
help me! I'm a crazy man about to kill me."
And then he's just like, "Oh, that's how that's want to play. Oh, kid, get your." I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, the priest just comes around and grabs the kid from Spawn, who does not lift a finger to help. The cops are continuing to chase him around corners. The one cop finally sees him. Oh, there he is! He jumps out of the car and chases him down an alley. And this one, the guy just sticks a grenade in the guy's pants.
Yeah. At the
And
seat
kills
of
him
his pants. And then we see another, the only living officer is just like, I'm pissed off.
I'm
You
gonna find that
bums.
bastard. No, not yet. But we see and of course, as all this craziness mayhem is happening, Spawn just sitting there playing with his wedding ring and daydreaming about Wanda.
Oh, Wanda.
I think this is when we find out the kid's name is Cyan. Also, all the way now in 5 episodes.
No. They when you first see they actually call her by Cyan.
Okay, well, he talks about her. He mentions her name is Cyan. I'm worried about her.
Oh wait, no, because anyway, Anyway, this is when the one living cop is like pissed off, and why does everyone have to go to Rat City and threaten the bums?
Yeah, they start shooting wildly in the air around the homeless people, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And this is like, you're hiding him, aren't you? You guys know where he is." And they're just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?"
Yeah, I just love it because he's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna kill you," and blah blah blah. And Spawn's just like, "Hey, you know what? No. Why is it people? Traps, man. Why is it always the people with power who do this?"
Yeah, try to abuse it all the time, and the guy tries to shoot Spawn, but of course it does not work.
Because his green goop.
Yep, he wraps him up in a big old cape and knocks the guy out.
Yep, and then this one's actually kind of a cool line too. He's just like, "Who made you God? Not that badge, not that uniform, not that gun."
Yeah.
So you like scaring people? Fine. I need a scarecrow. You're gonna be my personal messenger board. And he literally takes one of those metal whatevers and just literally wraps it around his neck so he can't move.
Yep, he leaves him tied to a wall and just kind of leaves him there. But as he goes, the priest guy pops up and says, "Hey, look at someone here. They didn't finish the job, huh?" And then he just presumably kills him or something.
You forgot to mention. He didn't finish the job, huh? I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, I'm a crazy man. The senator continues to give speeches. As he leaves, he gets a call from Wynn and threatens him not to ignore his calls.
Yeah, he's
he
like,
says, "You report to me."
Yeah, first off, you report to me. Secondly, remember that bill you just said that you were okay with? Yeah? Well, now I have to fucking clean up your mess because you can't take care of certain things about this bill. The entire bill needs to go down. So I need to actually fix your fucking mess. So, make sure every breath you take, every look you give, you're going through me, you fucking idiot.
Right back to me. Sam and Twitch are continuing to track the priest down as they think that the alley is somehow the key to all of this crazy shit that keeps happening. Because they're like, "What the hell? Still another crazy
Charlie
alley
Day
thing."
and fucking Always Sunny.
Pepe Sylvia. They say, "Oh, maybe this preacher is the actual child killer since it wasn't that guy we put in jail before. Maybe this guy's a child killer. We need to track this guy down." Eventually, as they're looking around, they do find the cop in a cart, kind of rolled towards their cop car.
Get him out! Hey, he wants his piece.
Yeah, the alley. The two of them. He says two of them. He wants his piece. And he mentions the guy in a red cloak. And he's like, "A cloak? What the hell is he talking about?" Wynn and Chapel have a meeting before Terry pops up and says, "Hey, I have more information on that investigation I was doing." And they're like, "Oh, great, thanks, man." And I think this is when Chapel mentions, "Oh, is that the guy who's sleeping with Wanda now? He should be happy. Simmons got killed and gets to get that fine piece of ass," he says.
Something like that.
Yeah. We also see, "Hey, Chapel, I know you can be incredibly extreme, but just don't be too crazy on this."
Yeah. Look, you were in South America when that happened. This time it's on American soil. We need finesse.
Yeah. We see the senator calls Wynn because of Wanda's investigation into Billy and just saying, "Hey, I need some help. You need to take care of this shit." And once again, we get all "Oh, don't worry. We're gonna have somebody take care of this lady for you, this Wanda." And of course, who else but good old Tony Twist? He's got some man who's gonna take care of her kid. Okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, Wynn calls him and says, "Hey, I need you to kidnap this lady's kid."
Kidnap the kid. You know, nothing too crazy.
Don't be crazy. Spawn and the homeless people see the cops gone. They're like, "Hey, where'd he go?"
Yeah, and Spawn's like, "That's what I want to fucking know."
Yeah.
And Cagliostro's like, "Bitch, fuck off, man."
Yeah. Hey, man, you're just sitting here brooding and not helping for the past 4 episodes.
What happened to the fact that you were going to help that kid? Kid didn't ask for help. He's fucking deaf and mute. Not my problem.
Yeah, that's his problem.
And then
he's also saying, okay, and also how many fucking homeless people need to get beaten up and killed in the crossfire before you actually fucking help Spawn?
Right. And then we see, the ice cream truck of Billy Kincaid, and we just see, some bulbous bellied, face painted weirdo walking out with like a trench coat and a hat.
He's like, hey, I see you're a good guy, huh? You like kids?
Yeah,
I like kids
like
too.
Parties, right?
Yeah, you like kids? I like
It's the
kids
clown,
too.
by
Let's
the way,
work together.
guys.
Yep, it's the clown. And he says, hey, you know, there's one kid who I know really likes candy. Why don't you go pick up this girl? And he's just saying, huh? And he also, I think he mentions he's with Tony Twist.
Well, no, he doesn't mention Tony Twist. He's
he
just
says,
like, you want to go to a party?
Yeah.
Here's the address, and it says fresh meat and a tasty treat.
Yeah.
It's the address, and when you see the address, because every time you see Tony,
Yeah.
you actually do see like the mailbox and everything. You just look at it, and you're just like, oh shit, that's the name on the mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see, you know, Wanda getting a call from Max.
Oh, we see the PI's office first.
Yeah. And
see-
you see he's dead. He's
Yeah.
fucking gone.
And we see Wanda's outside playing with Cyan as she gets a call to come inside. And it's like, oh, what? Oh, my God, no, Max is dead. As she's on the phone freaking out, we see one of...
like Cyan was playing with a ball
Yep.
and it like rolls out, and Cyan chases the ball because
Yep.
you know, child.
'Cause,
And
yeah,
then
don't do.
subtly in the background, you just hear car doors open, car doors close, car drives off as Wanda's on the phone. But then she realizes, wait, Cyan,
Yeah, Cyan.
where are you? And then she finds out that you know Cyan's been abducted.
Yeah, and he just starts screaming, Cyan, oh my God. And as we cut to Spawn being completely strapped up and ready to protect the alley with all the guns and bullets.
I think they would have probably kidnapped Cyan one way or another, but you have to admit, just like, way to fucking leave the door open, woman.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'll leave her kid unattended, but I guess he wasn't really thinking about that, but still, it's crazy.
But yeah, and then of course, as the Spawn's doing that, the radio that the policeman had that was on the wall,
Yeah.
the bums are holding it, and you just like, hey, we got a missing child, an abducted child,
Cyan
seems to be
Fitzgerald.
Cyan Fitzgerald, and Spawn's just like, wait, I know that name. Oh shit.
Yeah, we cut to Sam with the megaphone trying to draw out the preacher who still has the kid with him.
Yep. And then as you know, the reverend is like, I'm a crazy man.
Yeah, and just like put the grenade down and release the kid. It's just like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. He puts the grenade down on the ground and then he pulls out, reveals he has a shit ton of grenades on his body.
No. First he's, okay, I'll put the grenade down. Pushes the grenade down and they're like, guys, we're good. It has the pin still on. It's not going to explode on us. Then you see a sniper on the roof.
Yep.
And he's just like, you just hear someone like, you got the shot? Well, then
Yep.
take the shot. Shoots the priest in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Clear shot through the temple.
Mhm.
And everyone's just like, okay, we got it. We saved the kid. Then the preacher stands up.
Yeah, he gets back up completely.
He's just like,
alive.
wow. He's
wow,
like,
that was
wow.
a really good shot.
Yeah, good shot. Then he reveals all of those grenades.
Yep.
And then, of course, as he's getting ready to, you know, pull the pins, you see, like, chains, like, wrap around the kid and pull back
Yeah.
as it all explodes. The kid is fine, and the police find him unscathed.
Yep.
The
Fortunately.
preacher is on top of a roof, like, ha 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 ha, peels his skin off like every preacher does. And, oh, wait. Oh, wait, that's the clown. No wonder he didn't die. It was the clown the whole time. He was the turkey. He was the turkey all along. And then, of course, we see Cyan.
Yeah, being guarded by some authorities, man.
Knock, 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 and
Yeah.
you just hear, you move and you're gonna regret it, kid. What, you're gonna fucking shoot the kid? You're supposed to kidnap the kid, not shoot the fucking kid.
Yep.
And then we see fucking Cyan's like little blindfold come off, and we see it's fucking Billy Kincaid.
Yep.
Why is he not dead yet?
Yeah, not yet.
And that is where
end
the
of the
episode
episode.
ends. Finally, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, finally the forces are meeting. The wind's finally moving on Wanda for doing the investigation. Tony Twist is having his men killed.
I'm sorry,
more.
who?
Tony Twist is still having his men all killed.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta remember.
course,
We're contractually
And
obligated.
the episode's
by
over,
Chris.
so you can turn on your lights now.
Well,
episode.
you can, but
Episode
not yet.
5 is over.
No. Guess what? This episode of Action Toon Brothers isn't over. So
Oh, you're right.
keep your lights off.
Yeah. Let's say, yeah, they added that in the episode. I like the episode a lot because like the whole. I was very confused about the whole preacher storyline. I was like, what the fuck is with this weird ass character? This is so random.
And then, of course, he gets shot. I'm like, okay, maybe it was like a red herring.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, he's probably the child the child killer, the child abductor. I'm like, okay, no. They're throwing another red herring. And then he stood the fuck up. I'm like, excuse? Like, Chris and I both were like, eh.
Yeah, it was
And then we find out it's the clown. I'm like, oh, you know. And I think Chris, you asked me, he's like, what the fuck was the point of all of that? Or something along the lines, because you were confused as to why the clown was being a preacher kind of thing.
Maybe, I don't know, I think maybe we might be talking about something else.
It's still a very confusing plot point because, like, what the clown actually wants Spawn to do is so incredibly unclear, or what the motives are at this point are not incredibly clear.
Well, at this point, no,
Yeah.
it's very clear. He's mentioned it a few times that he wants Spawn to start fucking causing havoc, because every time Spawn goes to attack people, you see the clown go ape shit, go fucking insane.
Yeah.
This is your job.
Yeah, he wants to kill people to send them out so they can be. Well, but they explain the plan.
Well, that's all we know.
Your job is to follow the orders of Malbolgia.
Yeah,
and what you need to do is you need to fucking murder people.
Yep.
And in this one, it's like. When the clown is revealed to be the preacher, it's like, oh, he's literally trying to get the fucking ball rolling.
Yeah, but also it's still like not clear what the clown is able to do as opposed to Spawn.
He shapeshift, and he can beat the shit out of Spawn.
Real nice. No, I'm saying
that's all he can do.
No, I'm saying explicitly what he's allowed to do, because he kills a lot of random people in this pursuit of getting Spawn to kill people. But do those people not explicitly go to help with that, or they probably
the
actual motivations for him doing stuff as opposed to Spawn doing stuff?
I think the reason why at this moment at least the clown is doing what he's doing is to get some kind of response from Al Simmons,
exactly.
Just so Al Simmons can start fucking murdering people. Because oh no, this is a priest, a man of God, who's kidnapping a a mute deaf child.
Yeah.
While grenading innocent people.
Yeah, it's so...
Come on, Spawn. Fucking do something about it.
I feel like it might be a commentary on, as I said, as the old man says, Spawn's literally brooding and not doing anything for, a lot of these episodes, while just tons of homeless people are getting murdered around him. I guess maybe it's supposed to be so, if it's, you want to really read into it, it is something so ridiculously extreme that it's just, even this won't get you to fucking respond and do something and interact, because, Jesus Christ. You're not doing anything, and this is, the most insane thing to possibly happen.
Oh, that's what we were talking about, is with the whole, priest was the clown thing. It was the point we touched on I touched on earlier, where it's why does the clown bother dressing up like a fucking fat ass? With a ginormous beer gut and unbuttoned pants and all that.
Right, and then of course, at that point, when the clown was the preacher, it's hell has its own agenda. He's not gonna just focus on Spawn. Hell's not gonna just focus on Spawn. They need to get the ball rolling somehow. They're gonna have other plans. They're gonna have to work on other things. And, so it's just the clown's just, he's an agent of chaos. He's like the Joker, only edgier.
Yeah, but he actually has an actual, reason for what he's doing.
Right. But this
is to get a rise out of Spawn, pretty much.
Yeah, well, right, because Spawn is the one who's going to get the ball rolling on the, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there in this next episode, but yeah, it's just I'm okay, now this is actually getting a little serious.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 5 of 6 in the first season.
He needs more brooding to do. He can't get too involved.
Fortunately, he's done with the brooding.
Well.
No, he actually is, because we start off now in the final episode of Season 1, Episode 6. Endgame. Haha, that's right, Marvel. Spawn did it first. Fuck you. Just kidding. Just kidding. Avengers Endgame.
Todd McFarlane has to talk about choices. That's all I wrote. Todd talks about choices.
Yep.
Now turn off your fucking lights.
Hey, Spawn, sorry. Hey. That's my line.
Oh, sorry.
And now for Spawn. Now turn off your fucking lights. We start off with Spawn.
Yeah, he's some weird loudmouth.
Oh wait, sorry. We start off with a drug deal going bad.
Yeah. Some guy's trying to sell them to guys get away from you, freaking weirdo.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. He's just who needs ya?
Yep.
Then all of a sudden Spawn, literally Batman's this guy, putting chains around his neck and being what the fuck is going on? Where's the kid? What happened? Okay, I'll talk. Tony Twist stole the kid.
Who did?
Oh, no. Hey, I was being the guy.
Yeah.
That's the only time we don't get to say it. Yes, but we do find out that Tony Twist stole the guy. Because Matt's better at that.
I was I'm sorry, who are we talking about?
I was sorry. Tony Twist. I was just now hold on, hear me out. I was being the other character. But yes, it's Tony Twist.
Yeah, speaking of which, we see that Tony Twist's goons are with the girl. Oh, what's going on, you guys? They find that, the girl is gone and all their men are dead. And they're what the fuck is happening here?
Yep.
Billy continues to kill people. He kills all the other guards as they approach, and he takes
Somehow,
Yeah.
because they
I
have
don't know
guns.
why. They never explain why he's so good at like killing adult armed men. He's a child.
I mean, have you seen how thick that man is?
I know, but somebody's able to take on all these people who are incredibly like weaponized, trained, and shit. He's just like a psycho. But
Maybe that's exactly it.
Yep,
Maybe it's because he's a fucking psycho.
one surviving goon lets Tony Twist know what's up, and he finds out like,
and then we cut to the senator.
Yep.
At a wharf where a helicopter is coming down with Chapel and Jason Wynn.
He's talking about how the senator is talking about how he is blackmailing his competitor as well as he.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm blackmailing, and Jason Wynn's like, dude, your fucking kid is fucking everything up.
Yeah, he said. No,
Did you send him to steal the
Yep.
kid? And the senator's like, no. Why would I do that? What point would I have to do that? I'm blackmailing my competitor here.
Yeah, why the hell would I literally put my own son in danger and like kill the men who are trying to take care of a problem for me?
And then, of course they
They're like,
leave
yeah,
it
you're
at
probably
that.
right. Yeah, Chapel, you go deal with that freak in the alley.
Yeah, you hunt down the killer and find those and find the weapons.
Yep, Terry and Wanda are talking to the cops about.
They're talking to a fucking an investigator about the kidnapping. I'm like, yeah, hey, slow down, answer my questions. I'm like, no, shut the fuck up. A kid is missing.
Yeah.
Don't be like, sir, calm down. Fuck you.
Yeah, they are freaking out, but they're like, okay, what's the motive? You work for some kind of government agency, and you're a lawyer. Maybe you're somebody you dealt with. And she's like, oh my god, it's my fault. I was investigating Tony Twist, and now everyone's freaking out because my kid's lost.
No. She wasn't investigating.
She was investigating
Tony Twist.
Yeah.
She was investigating the fucking the Kyle case.
Oh yeah, the investigation with the higher up government official,
Yeah.
and then Tony Twist is freaking out because he lost a kid. That's what he's freaking out.
Yeah, and then of course Spawn stops by and he's like, I warned you, fucker.
Yeah,
where is the kid? I don't know. Some guy with an ice cream truck stole her.
Yep, and then he finally kills Tony Twist.
Yep, and thus for 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Tony Twist.
Rest in power.
Yeah, rest in power.
You'll be remembered forever. Twitch is finally on to the murder of the cover-up.
Yeah, because he's actually like listening to the right conversation.
Yeah, he finally puts it all together that the murder's in the alley where people who are
And
investigating.
Sam helps out too.
Yeah,
But Twitch does.
Yeah, they finally put everything together and they figure out everything except for who's killing the people specifically.
Well, no. That actually does. Just because in the recording, the name was mentioned. It's like, so who's killing him? Apparently, sir, his name is Billy Kincaid.
The alley. Who's killing people in the alley?
Oh, in the alley. Yeah.
They figure out the entire conspiracy.
Yeah.
All the government things.
We still don't know about that. But Billy Kincaid. It's time to get Billy Kincaid. So everyone is on a fucking manhunt for this Kincaid guy.
Yep, as Billy goes back to his old house with Cyan, and we see a big, giant, creepy shrine to his father.
And, music and very, very creepy insinuations going on.
Yeah, he's very creepy to Cyan.
Okay, look, sorry, I had to look at Chris because... I even jokingly I asked him how many knots in his stomach he was getting from all of this, but in sincerity, he really did actually look very squeamish, and I was worried.
And it certainly didn't help that, like, in one of the early episodes, you had a cameo of Billy just having like a bloody set of tools, like knives and shit. In a drawer that he then pushes and then immediately pans over to him, looking into the mirror and putting on his ice cream uniform.
Yeah, it's incredible imagery.
It also doesn't help that with the Kyle case, they mentioned with the medication that he's on.
Yeah.
That the children were not necessarily treated well before death.
Yep,
I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, they do explain that. That's one of the reasons that it couldn't have been Kyle because it messed up with his medication and everything like that. Spawn finally catches up to him and he completely destroys the shit out of Billy's house. But unfortunately, a bunch of chemicals and shit blow up and he gets flashbacks from his fire.
Yeah, he gets PTSD from his fire.
Yep.
And then the car chase scene where Spawn is actually on the back of the truck. And all the police officers are just like, "Oi, that's the guy. Let's get him." And Sam is looking. He's like, "Who's that fucking cape guy on there?"
Yeah,
Don't know, sir.
They drive all the way back to the city.
And as all of this is
Why are
happening...
you making Twitch Williams sound like Donald Trump?
No, I'm making him sound like trying to do droopy dog.
Oh, okay. I keep hearing Donald Trump.
If it was Donald Trump, I was going to do the face and everything. But no, sir.
Terry and Wanda are with the cops, and they finally overhear that they finally found Billy, and
then they do the worst thing ever. The worst thing nobody should ever do.
No.
Hey, we're going with you.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Let the cops do their job. Don't get in the way.
as all of this chaos is ensuing, up on a building, you just see the clown having a fucking gas of this whole thing. He's just like
laughing, dancing around, being
stupid.
stupid.
He did this and he did this,
Yep.
and then we finally after
Billy's crazy driving does get like another random guy killed with his insane crashing into cars and shit.
Yep, and then he actually his ice cream truck crashes in fucking Rat City
somehow.
And then of course, he starts walking out, and Spawn is there again, and he starts doing this weird ass glowing green thing, and starts gently takes child, gently takes knife. And
we forgot to say Billy. In the big crash, Billy somehow survives. Grabs Cyan with the kid.
Yeah, and Cyan apparently is unscathed from this too. And then, he's, walking around, and, it's, the final standoff. We get, the child is gently taken with this weird green glow coming from Spawn. We get, the knife getting taken away, and we get, Billy getting choked out. He is about to fucking die.
Yeah, we see him completely wrapped up inside the cape, and the clown is just do
it, kill him. And then all of a sudden, Spawn just, yells no, throws him away because he's like, look, I'm not going to play this fucking being a pawn game kind of thing. Gently starts walking away, hand in hand with child, him just leading her. And, calling you out, Chris. But Chris is like, yes. Spawn doesn't kill him. No!
No, why?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, the clown just comes out and he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I gotta fucking do everything.
With the fucking program, get your ass up. And Billy's just like, I want my ice cream. He's like, sorry, Charlie. We ain't got no ice cream for you. Literally, of all the things that the clown could have done, pulls out a fucking Glock and just shoots him. Caps his head.
Yeah, and then he stays in the shadows, turns back into his violator form.
And he's just like, oh,
deal.
Yeah, you made a deal, you fucked up. Boss ain't gonna like this, but you know what? Doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
You're gonna get fucked, son.
Yep, Cyan thanks Spawn for rescuing her, and then she finally exits the alley, and everyone's like, oh my god. She reunites with Wanda, and everyone's like, oh thank god, you're safe.
But Spawn gives Cyan something before she walks away, because you find out when he's like, oh, Cyan, you're safe. Wait, what? What's this? And she sees it's the wedding ring, and inside the wedding ring is an engraving that says Alan Wanda Forever. Where did you get this? It was the sad man.
Yeah, the sad man.
Because no one knows what it's like to be the sad man.
Oh god, shut up. He says
to
that
be the glad man. Behind green eyes.
Shush. The old man says every hellspawn makes a choice inside, and the real war is just beginning.
It's just about to begin. And thus, that's where Season 1 ends.
Season 1 over of Spawn. A very concise, short series that's very mature and very crazy.
And we got 2 more seasons to do with it.
Oh, hell yeah.
A lot more blood than I was expecting.
Oh, yeah.
And titties, too.
Yeah, a lot of
No, I know you're an adult person because you see a pair of tits and you're just like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But, in this TV show, just because you weren't expecting it, blood happening, you're just like, oh shit, the silhouettes of people getting their faces shot in. Yeah, okay, holy shit, this is big. And then you saw the animated titties, you're like, oh, tits!
This show's really going
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, never mind, this is mature.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time I've seen a series, an animated series like this that was actually made for adults.
Yeah. On TV, it ran on HBO, on TV. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was literally it ran on HBO
back in the 90s,
for a while.
I caught a couple of random episodes back when I was a kid, watching HBO, and I was just like, holy shit, this show is fucking intense. It's a very, very interesting show. comic-wise, I've never really been a particular fan of Spawn, but I've always liked the look, and I've always liked the ideas and some of the other beings that we're not going to see in this series run, like the Redeemer and stuff like that. I've always been fascinated by, and also the other, like I mentioned earlier when we mentioned the Violator, the other Flabeg brothers and all that stuff. There's a lot of really cool ideas and really cool concepts, which I know that Neil Gaiman, as much as you're upset about what he did, he does contribute to a lot of great ideas in this series.
Look. I'm very okay with Neil Gaiman. Yeah, Gaiman. I'm very okay with him. I love his work and stuff. It's just of all the things, this is the one black mark on his record that I hate the most.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change the fact that he's very talented, very creative individual, and a swell guy all in all.
We'll do more research. I'm sure fans will have more explicit for what happened.
Exactly. It's just like that's the only thing that upsets me about this. But also, like you said, there's probably going to be, because it's only 3 seasons long, there's probably going to be a lot of characters that we don't get to see. A lot of people probably aren't going to, get as much time as they deserve. But like, is it cheesy? Is it 90s? Is it edgelord as fuck? Does it cut itself on its edge? Absolutely. Does Todd McFarlane do better as an artist and director rather than a fucking actor? Yes. Yes, he's a better artist than an actor. Does it have really fucking stupid moments and characters who shouldn't even been on screen but were anyway? Absolutely. Is it a good watch? Yes, it is a good watch. Absolutely. It's very does it actually watch. Does it start getting interesting? Absolutely. Are some of the characters very interesting and you want to know more about them? Absolutely. It's a double-edged sword with me. For me, I'll admit, this is like a guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah.
And I knew Matt is the comic book guy, so I figured, you know what? Let's do something a little bit bizarre. That's kind of left field. Now I could have said let's do Young Justice season 4?
Yeah, eventually.
Is the newest one. I could have said that, but that was too obvious, and I knew Matt was going to do it eventually. And then he decided to blindside me with, we'll get to that episode when we record it.
Oh yeah.
But it's just, Spawn is a very nebulous and interesting example of extremely edgy, extremely dark, yet really does tell a good story in the end. At the end of it all.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly compelling. As confusing as people's motivations can be, the vibe of this show. I want to say another thing. Speaking of the young kids, the vibe of the show is incredibly fucking cozy, chill.
Cozy?
Oh yeah,
that's a word.
Dude, I could listen to.
You describe the show.
I could listen
cozy?
to when. I could listen to Win whisper into a phone for fucking hours scheming. I could listen to fucking Keith David just read a fucking phone book as Spawn and brood in the sun. I could listen to either the clown with his weird non-Joker cackling and then the Violator's creepy whispering. Everyone's all the voice acting is so fucking wonderfully enjoyable.
So what you're saying
and then the calmness, the general low calmed tone of everything that's happening, as bloody as it is, and as tits randomly and fucking sex everywhere, it is bizarrely, of course, and a child murderer. It is still aggressively lax and chilled everything that's happening. It's such a weird vibe that I very much enjoyed it. It's it's a very specific tone that I very much you don't see very often.
Well, okay, in terms of pacing, still not a word I would.
Of course, yeah,
still,
tone.
Cozy's not quite a word I would use. It's
also nostalgic because
a more chill tone.
Oh yeah.
So what you're saying is, Matt, is when is the ASMR of Spawn coming out?
I'm sure you could. Oh no! If I just listen to fucking the Violator,
Jason Wynn just and now I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you my evil plans.
Yeah, Chapel. Find out who's behind this.
Senator, do remember, we're in bed together, so turn around, bend over, and enjoy it. Then the Violator, just give the Violator his own fucking comedy.
I know, Violator's... No, the clown.
Sorry, the clown, yes.
The Violator's fucking dope
as hell. And Violator ASMR.
Spawn, I can't believe you're doing this. You're going to do exactly what I said you're going to do, and you're going to listen to me, because I'm the Violator.
And then you got Tony Twist, who I can just listen to yap all day. I fucking love Tony Twist. I'm probably gonna use his voice for an NPC in a bunch of my campaigns now.
You fucking better.
It's so fucking fun. Okay? With my prostitutes. And the guy comes in and kills my prostitutes every single other day.
But like going along
Where's
with
overkill?
with the fucking where's overkill? And then wait. We gotta have overkill segment, right? Overkill. Right.
Yeah, that's all he gets. That's all he deserves.
But no, speaking of the Violator ASMR, it's just like,
And now I'm going to describe to you what the fuck is going to happen if you don't listen to me anymore. I'm going to...
and he does like whispers just every
it's creepy,
dark,
but fun to listen
twisted
to.
fucking thing he does, and that's the ASMR.
It's such a fucking fun show.
But no,
I really loved it. Yeah.
As strange as it is for you to describe it that way, like I do take your meaning. Like, yeah, it gets intense at some times, but what it could have been is really, really over the top.
Of course.
And like violent and actiony and whatever. But in this case,
yeah.
it is a little more mild. Yes, we get that 90s brooding character.
Of course, yeah.
We get the old like mentor being like, yes, you need to be the good guy, and I'm not cryptic at all, as he says very cryptically.
Yeah, even with when it gets actiony with like the literal Spawn with his two machine guns and covered in bullet pouches and stuff like that. Even when that's happening, it's not like loud and like aggressively annoying to listen to or anything like that. It's still even that's like relatively like pretty like chill for everything that's happening. It's so weird. It's such a weird like tone, like audio tone for the series.
But now there is one more concept we have to explain. A concept that is used in this continuity and in sometimes it was very rarely used at the beginning. Well, it wasn't. It was used at the beginning of the comics, and it was used in like one, maybe two of the video games. The timer.
Yeah.
Because all you get is you get to see this thing, and every time Al Simmons uses his power, it starts getting lower.
Yep.
It's not a time... So the timer is a very interesting concept that rarely gets used, and honestly, if they do decide to do another animated show recently or something, I want them to bring this back. Hear me out.
Yeah.
So the aspect of the timer, because I had to look this up because I was like, what the fuck is going on? The aspect of the timer is not by minutes, seconds, milliseconds, etc. It's not how long time-wise he has. It's an amount of power that he has, that the suit, that his outfit, his uniform gives him. Like anytime he uses chains, or anytime he teleports, or regenerates his wounds and stuff like that.
So it's his mana bar. Got it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, and it is a concept from the comics. Like the comics for a long time had that measurement every time he did something, so you would know his actual powers counting down and stuff like that.
Yeah, but see, as was slightly gently explained in the show, the moment that power bar, that mana bar, because it's quite literally that, and it doesn't regen either, and there's no potions to rejuvenate it.
Well, damn.
Once it hits 0, that's when Spawn loses his consciousness, his everything about what he's doing, and literally becomes the Spawn of hell that Malboja wants. So it's like, think of it, because right now Spawn needs to do what he's told, right? Because he made a deal. But once that timer hits 0, it doesn't matter. He's Malboja's.
Yep, that is when its power is out, and he will have to go back to hell. And it's like, I don't want to spoil if that actually happens or not in the actual show, but it's like very, very fun concept.
Yeah, it's very interesting because every time people talk about Spawn, you never hear that concept, and it's like, we need this because it's very forgiving on time wise, because right now it's like, what was the last time, 8 something or other?
The one at the end of the series, I think it is at least 8 and then 5 maybe. I think it's very more than 500 or whatever has been used, I think.
Yeah. So it's very forgiving. It's like anytime he uses his power, the more crazy his power, like the teleportation or stuff, the more it uses up. Kind of like in typical RPGs. Stronger the spell, more mana gets used. But it still gives a very subtle sense of urgency because he's on limited time. So it's just it's a concept that I feel like needs to get used more.
Oh, well, yep, that's wrapping it up for today.
Yeah, and that is season 1 of Spawn.
Chris, what did you think of season 1 of Spawn, having not had much of the familiarity with the character or anything like that?
I mean, it was a good time. And, obviously, like, way more titties and blood than I was expecting. I was not expecting it to be such a mature show for that kind of animation style. And it kind of made me think of how, like, okay, so my experience with that or very similar animation styles were like Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, X-Men. There's probably another one in there that I can't
like X-Men Evolution ad infinitum.
Yeah, and it just like all those shows were targeted toward like kids and teens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come into this one thinking because like I was starting to watch episode 2 or 3, I was fully expecting it to fall into the trap of like being a typical Saturday morning cartoon, right? Where it's like it's not a serial, it's a series where like every episode is a self-contained plot and everything just goes back to normal.
Oh, it's not like Monster of the Week kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of. That's what I was fully expecting. I was thinking like okay, well, episode 1 or 2 will be like the 2-part haha intro where Spawn is like fighting with how he got here and he eventually just accepts it, and then we just have Monster of the Week episodes going from there. Mm-hmm. But it decidedly did not go that route, and I'm actually quite happy about that. It's like, oh, this is actually like a serial with a continuous plot happening. That actually makes this like way more interesting. Like not only more mature, but also just more like mentally stimulating and interesting.
Absolutely.
I like that.
And the one thing I noticed with you, especially because we watched both of the Spider-Verse movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you're interested in something, you get invested in the story a bit, in some of the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Case in point, the one you don't like, Billy Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
You were the most like verbal about how much you fucking despised him, and all it took was, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. Okay, when does Billy fucking die?
Yeah.
That you really did not like it, and that's good because that means you were invested in the show enough to know, oh, this guy did some really shitty things.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that Chris was like happy but angry at the clown at the same time for throwing a cat off the roof.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Well, his comment was, well, I'm glad they didn't make it any more graphic.
Yeah.
Because all he does is he just tosses a cat.
Yeah.
Like,
he does kill a rat on screen later, too.
Oh, yeah, he kills the rat on screen.
Yeah.
But the cat, he just, like, tosses it to the side. And Chris is just like, well, I'm glad they didn't make it more graphic than it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just like, yeah, but still, either way, it can get you invested. A lot of the characters, when done correctly, are done correctly.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, this is, like I said, this is technically a guilty pleasure for me. It's weird. Because, like, when it's bad, it's fucking laughably bad.
Oh, yeah.
When it's good, it's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And, like Matt said, it kind of goes with the main story of Al Simmons well.
Oh, yeah. And I can't wait to get more into Al in the next 2 seasons when we cover the rest of the series.
In the next 2 series. But, next time is going to be, another 6 episodes, because there's only 3 seasons, so this is going to be a very short series.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, this might be one of the shorter ones we've done.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, other than our specials,
other
Star Wars
than
Visions and stuff like that, which we still have to do.
2? We'll do that.
2.
We'll do part 2 eventually, one day.
Yeah, well, one day. But anyway, hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you have any shameless plugs? Or plugs, for that matter?
No. I genuinely don't use Facebook. I don't use Twitter. I recently, after hearing about the Reddit API bullshit, I deleted that account there. So I'm basically not on the internet except for Discord, but that's not really a plug.
Right. Yeah. Well, he doesn't have a Discord server or anything.
No.
So we don't have a Discord server either.
No.
So I mean, and honestly, that's fine. Because me personally, I still don't have any plugs. I recently got rid of my Facebook. I still have my Twitter, but I literally don't touch
never
it.
use it. Yeah, I know.
Literally don't touch it. I'm pretty much like Chris, except for I never had a Reddit, and I just I don't. I have a Discord, but it's a personal Discord, so... however, Mr. Lewis... Sing it, sister!
Where can we find you, Matt Lewis?
Well, you can follow Matthew Lewis at Matthew Lewis Podcasts.
Wait. Do all of these plugs, but in Tony Twist voice.
I was just about to ask. Shit! Well, I mean, I don't know if I can do that, but my friend Tony, could you tell me my plugs?
Yeah, absolutely. Check them out at the Matthew Lewis Podcast on Twitter, Matthew Lewis Podcast on Patreon, Matthew Lewis Podcast on YouTube. What's the other one you got? Oh, yeah. Check out the other show, Movie Garbage, with this guy's really cool friend, Babachek. You gotta also check out the book Forgotten Minotaur King. Make sure you listen to the podcast too, it's free online. And make sure you review and listen to the episodes. Listen to old episodes of Action Toon Bros. We got other projects coming out soon. Let's see. That's probably it, right?
You mentioned the Patreon, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah, I think that's all, Tony. Thanks. Okay, well, fuck off. You're dead. Anyway.
So here's my question, Matt.
Yeah.
Not Tony. Tony.
No, Tony's dead. He's
Yeah. Oh shit. Wait. Who the fuck was? Oh my god.
Oh my
I think
god.
we're all
It's a
going crazy.
ghost.
But here's an interesting question, because you already know that I have a few things in the back burner, but you know I got some things to iron out and work out. So I know I've been saying it for such a long time, but I mean with my work schedule and everything like that, and the fact that with other things, I just it's been very difficult for me to actually get what I need and to work on my own personal kind of thing. And of course other details too. But you've been thinking of other shows, haven't you? For Matthew Lewis Podcast. I mean, any that you want to reveal, or is it all in the back?
Well, I keep mentioning my other one. I would have Tony mention them, but they are also nebulously not real yet. Like Tony, who's dead. So I think I really have to. When they get more official and I actually start posting my other stuff, then I'll start actually plugging it. Because in the meantime, nothing yet.
Okay, so you still have a few things on the back burner too.
Yeah.
So okay, that's good. But yeah, thank you, guest star Tony. Sorry, Tony Twist.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not really good.
Oh my god! He jumped out the window.
How does he keep coming back from the dead?
Oh, sorry, kids. It's all me.
Violet, or sorry, the clown.
Yeah, no.
Our Lord the Clown?
Our Lord, no, the Violator.
He said violate. I mean, the clown. No, hey, just remember, I'm not the violator, not the vindicator, I am the violator. That's a movie reference.
Well, nice.
That's the fucking movie reference. Anyway, but yeah, thanks for that, and thank you, friend of the podcast. AKA Chris.
Yeah.
And by the way, in the credits, he needs to be literally called friend of the podcast in parentheses AKA Chris.
Yeah, or like
it's
Chris from the podcast. Bo.
Yeah, that's how we.
And Chris in quotes friend of the podcast end quote Bo.
That's my title.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're having a good time watching this.
I am. Yeah, thank you.
It was a weird it was a weird twist on a show that you probably were never gonna watch.
It was a weird twist.
It was a weird Tony. Hey, and by the way, we need to have a moment of silence for our friend. Actually, before we do this, from us at Game Grumps Incorporated. I don't know why I was thinking that. From us here, sorry, Aaron and Danny, do not sue me. From us here at Action Toon Brothers, we should tell you in a very general, say the fucking thing.
Oh, I was gonna say, make sure you fucking turn on the lights.
Oh yeah, you can turn on the. Hey. Well, first off, we can say our catchphrase. Keep it sleazy. You can say the whole thing about the lights.
Yeah, keep turning your fucking lights off.
And now, a moment of silence for the best character in the Spawn series, Overkill.